5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4,
14, 18,
4.
23, 24.
Touchdown.
Score!
Bingo! Well,
We're on? What?
Like,
What's going on?
Glenn
What
was
the
giving
hell
us
is
the
happening in
winning
this?
lottery numbers.
that was Glenn giving the numbers. Tonight's numbers were 5, 4, 4, 3, 4, 2,
Poor Glenn.
1 again.
And 18.
And 18. Anybody got 18? No?
18. B18.
You sunk my
B18.
battleship, Glenn.
It's going to be a great fucking show.
Is it gonna be? It's all.
Later on tonight, we'll have Dan's review of the final shift.
Later on, I want to hear
Later
it now.
on.
Later.
Matt missed it. Matt should have. Matt, I don't know why. Matt, why did you not go to the
I
premiere?
wish I had gone. I wish I
What
had
what
gone.
what was your reasoning? Did you have something pressing come up?
I did. I was occupied, and
You were occupied.
I
You had something better to do with
but
your
I
Saturday
just
night.
I decided to stay home and watch that movie with I forget what it's called now, with Jay Leno.
Collision Course.
Collision Course.
Come
I
on.
You
decided
stay
to-
home to watch
Now wait a
Collision
minute.
Course.
Collision Course is a better movie than
I was watching when I got home last
That's why
night.
I stayed home to watch it. I just figured I'd watch that.
I turned on A View from the Top with Gwyneth Paltrow as the flight attendant, which was supposed to be this hilarious comedy with Mike Myers, and it bombed.
Yes.
It got like a half a star. It was so much better. It was
Now wait a
so-
minute.
I've seen this movie before and it was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last night I had a new appreciation for it.
Really?
Yeah.
I
It's like rewatching Xanadu.
actually,
Wow.
I went out. I was doing airsoft today with my nephews and a bunch of like the people in the church and a bunch of like their friends and like other non-church members and stuff and I decided the extra power I had doing the airsoft today, I was a shape-shifting hit woman, and I actually I used that inner strength from all that great writing in that movie last night, the final shit or whatever. Is that what we're calling the
Final
the
shit.
final shit? Final shift? Is that what it's called? Oh.
So the film acted as your muse.
It was my muse.
Today while you were
I
playing.
have never seen a worst movie. I mean, I can't think in the history of movies.
I still have to show you Title of Murder.
I mean,
Title to
I
Murder.
have to see the movie that Chris was in
I
with
was an
Maureen
extra in a
McCormick,
film
but
in 2000, 2001.
and
Quite
on the
awful.
ride back last night. Now
Quite
we were
awful.
at this Magic 108 was there, right? Wasn't that who did
Magic
the Magic
106.7 was there,
106.7? They were the ones that did the red carpet, and then this J&J Productions from YouTube was doing this other interviews with everybody there. So we were there with the red carpet. It was really a fancy theater. I remember I made one comment to Chris while we were at the theater. I said, "Wow, they got really fancy surround sound." Then I noticed it was the air ducts.
It was an air
It was
duct.
the air
Oh,
conditioning
really?
ducts. I was like, "Oh, wait a minute." That's
All right, so before we get into this now, since we have Amsterdam in the
Amsterdam.
chat room for the next 2 minutes because they're watching the Celtics game, if you guys are listening, if you could give us an updated score for the Celtics, for those of us who actually care about sports, which is none of the three of us, but
But like for the people listening that care about the
And
sport.
they had
certainly not Glenn.
they had someone from the final shift on Amsterdam.
Yes, they did.
Yes,
they had Fiore,
Leo, and John DePue, the director.
Oh, right, and John
one of
was
the
director,
stars.
writer, and star. And
Yes.
excuse me.
Yeah.
The talent behind that movie.
did you use quotation marks?
I didn't go talent. I didn't say the
I
talented
heard
writer,
quotation marks
actor,
behind it.
director of the movie. I didn't do that.
We could hear the air quotes.
Ah.
I could certainly hear the air quotes.
The genius behind that film. I mean, I don't know.
Hi. Amsterdam says hi. Hi.
Hi, guys.
Give us a score of the Celtics game, guys.
Are they
yes, if you're
still-
tuning in from the Peter White Show, thank you very much for sticking around, especially Paxton88, who always is in their chat room.
Yeah.
They're
Are
one-
they playing the Magic still? Are they still against the Magic? Johnson, the Celtics. The Celtics
Was it
playing the
that?
Magic Johnson tonight.
I'm gonna have to look myself on that.
I don't remember. Are they still playing the Magic?
Care about Celtics.
I mean, it's a big deal, right? Aren't we in the playoffs or something? Aren't we in the
Okay.
Final Four right now? Right now.
We're playing the Heat.
The Heat, yeah, right. The Miami Heat, right?
You're
that's
playing
that's
the
it,
Heat.
right?
Why don't we call them the
It
Celtics?
is now
The Celtics?
49-34 Celtics.
All right.
49-34
You have a good point, Matt. Why aren't they called the Celtics?
Yeah, why is that?
Celtics.
It's called Red Auerbach. Where's the newsman? Where's the QC newsman? He should know.
The QCE newsman? Because we're broadcasting from the QCE News studio?
He should know. Why isn't it? Why
in the other room.
Is he even paying attention?
Where's
to
our
us?
cunning linguist
Sith Lord out
in the
there?
house?
Glenn,
I
do
do
you
love a
know
good
why we
cunning
say
linguist.
Celtics instead of Celtics? Yeah, but do you know why?
Do we know why it's a Celtic and not a Celtic?
Because it's American?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Well, this is also the same guy that says New Hampshire. So, never mind. Or New Hampshire, if you remember a few weeks back when he was saying, "Oh no, I've always said New Hampshire."
It's always New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
You can't get there from here.
It's New Hampshire,
Trying to break
not
out
New
the
Hampshire.
Maine. The Maine accent.
So what didn't you guys like about the film?
The movie.
I'm
The
gonna-
writing, the directing, the
I'm staying
acting.
neutral because
The color
in
correction.
the event that anybody from the final shift is watching,
Oh, nobody's watching this. They did
It's
because
true.
we brought nobody from Manchester to that movie.
the one
theater
person
last
I
night.
told about last night, she wasn't even in the film. She's
Like,
a good
if-
friend of mine from the theater.
we don't
She's
have
like,
a
Kate,
boom-
if you're watching, hi.
We don't
Thank
have
you
a
for
boom
joining.
mic. We don't
If
have
you
a.
are watching Kate as an observer of the film, please log into the chat room or text us. Let us know what you thought of the film. Matt, what's the number to text in?
344-6491.
603-344-6491.
Oh, or
We're
you know
without
what?
Magic Jack tonight. So.
I'll open Skype on my computer.
Oh, cool. Yes.
And if you'd like to Skype with us, it's IPM Nation. is our
IPM
Skype
Nation.
ID.
Yes.
Now
I'll
she
open that
wasn't
right
in the
I've
film.
given up on
so.
Skype on this because we were supposed to have a Magic Jack.
Oh,
and,
right, right.
We do not have the Magic Jack tonight.
Now she wasn't in the film, so she can give her honest opinion without worrying about hurting anybody's feelings. Correct? Like she wasn't. That was your friend from your theater group that when you were. In,
Yes, I believe
Yeah.
she was there with.
She said she had a
I
connection
think she
to
was
the
the
theater
plus
itself.
one. Well, yes,
Yeah.
but I believe she was the plus one to one of the actors in the film, the
Yeah.
scientist.
The scientist. Okay, but I mean, and he wasn't
My good
that
friend John
bad.
Duke.
It
Duke
wasn't.
was.
He wasn't that
Duke
bad.
was.
But I mean, and we agreed. There was one actor who wasn't there last night who actually did a great job. Who we were determined that he's actually a professional actor, who I've seen in other films.
Who
before.
decided not to show up for the premiere?
Well,
of,
because I don't think he's a local actor. I think he's
Right.
like.
Oh,
I
I
think he was
thought-
like.
I thought maybe he just thought it would damage his
He
career.
probably did.
Got any
But
further
it was
association.
just no. This is what I had against the movie.
We're gonna have to find out, by the way, if,
Yeah.
what his
What his
career is,
IMDb
because this
is.
man-
Because
this guy
he was
was
good. Like the bad
brilliant.
guy was good. Like the
Really?
bad guy, yeah. The general, like he was a good. He actually was good. He was the only thing about the movie
and
that was
there's
good.
an IMDb page for it.
There is, yeah. But like, the big complaint I had was a couple of scenes. You see a boom
Robert
light coming
Miano.
into the scene.
Sorry, go ahead.
Robert Guillaume.
Miano.
Yeah, I see. I've seen him in other movies. He looks very familiar. He's got that character actor look. He was in Donnie Brasco.
Look at this.
Yeah, he's got
1,
a.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 films that are right now in post-production, pre-production, or filming.
Yeah.
This guy
But
gets
he's
around
he's
a
he's
lot.
a, he's a busy guy.
He was in Little Fockers
Yeah.
as an extra. Let's see. The Last Stop sounds familiar. Yeah, this guy was in a shitload.
But he's one of those guys that you'll recognize him if you ever see this video. Now I don't know, it's never going to be in the theaters. It can never be released, even though he claimed last night he had 2 distributors and it's going to be in 3D.
Well,
I don't know
distributors
what's
doesn't-
going to be in 3D.
Distributors doesn't necessarily mean that, it's going to go straight to a
No.
theater. It could mean straight to DVD
Or
or
straight
straight
to-
to Netflix or one of those services.
Yeah, I don't think
And
it'll be on
just want to say
Netflix.
hi to Matt in the chat room. Matt has been is joining us.
Matt from
all right.
Manchester?
Yes, he's been absent for about 2 weeks. He's been at a conference in Canada, so we missed him on Matt Connerton Unleashed, Verbal Ejaculation, and Roulette at Large Gone Global. So Matt, welcome back. We miss having you in the chat room. Hey guys, he says. So I'm sorry. This could potentially take up the next 2 hours.
I'm thinking
Our
that
conversation of this film could actually last longer than the film lasted itself.
no, the
It was like a
3D,
90-minute
the
film.
3D thing though. I was saying before we went on the air, and you were
You were having your
elsewhere,
cigarette
Chris.
or
That,
whatever.
it's
Yeah.
probably so you can see the boom mic.
You can see the boom mic.
Actually
You can
coming
see,
at
you can
you.
see
The
that.
boom is right in your
Well,
face.
one of the things is there, there's special effects where you would actually see one character. You could see the wall was a different color than the other characters. You knew that the special effect was
Wow.
coming. So maybe that's in 3D.
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
That's the one thing I know. She was tied up against this pole, and like all of a sudden the pale yellow wall that was behind her was like completely white, and
Oh,
it was
really?
like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
something's coming.
Yeah, something's gonna happen. Yep. Oh yeah.
She
She
shifted.
changed.
We're
But
still
the,
not sure, and we're still not sure what the fuck. The
we can't
final
figure out.
shift
We couldn't figure out the
is.
name of the
Really?
film, why it was
We
called
thought,
that.
okay, because my friend John, who was the lead, he was the hitman. We're thinking, okay, maybe it's his final job. Is this?
Well,
what
why
it's
not
gonna
call it the
be?
final hit?
Yeah.
But then there's shapeshifters in it, so
Yes, there's
you're trying to be
shapeshifters,
like
so are they
Final
shifted?
Shift.
Oh, probably. That makes sense.
But then it's like
But
but it was so stupid. It was just, and it was a convoluted plot, and they've ripped off so many movies.
Yeah.
The opening credits ripped off Doctor Who, Spider-Man, X-Men with the opening credits.
yeah, it's
a time tunnel
a
that went
spatial
into-
tunnel that went into genetics.
And it was just
so it's DNA and all that.
and it was just
Wow.
and it was so cheaply produced, and it was like, and it was funny too because somebody asked a question like, what kind of cameras did you use? And of course John didn't know, and then the editor comes out and says, and it was like, I was just waiting for them to say, yeah, Betamax and like a Sony Handycam.
So, what did they do, a Q&A?
They had a Q&A at the end where they had everybody line up, and one of the observations I made to Chris when we were leaving, I'm like, the star of the film was off to the side. You would think the star of the movie, when they had the lining up of the cast, they had all the bit cast members in the middle of the stage. And then, like, the main characters, the two main characters, were pretty much off to the side.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, why would you have the star of your movie, like, off to the side, and then the other star of the movie? Because you had two major, like, characters, pretty much. And then, of course, John, who was the guy that writes the movie, of course, he's the main character.
Right.
Because he's, and he's the one running the show because he directed it, wrote it. And it was just, they ripped off a lot of movies. They ripped off a lot of, the special effects were just so atrocious. Like, it looked like somebody took, like, an old computer, or somebody took, like, an old video game and superimposed, like, the really bad, like, like Xbox graphics. And, like, you would see, like, I don't even know why they didn't just use, like, guns that had, like, because they even had, like, computer generated, like, gunfire. And it didn't really match. And then, like, it was
yeah,
like,
like- It'd be animated smoke coming out.
it was
of the
animated
gun.
smoke and
Wow.
flash, and like you'd see blood, like you'd see like gunshots on people that were like animated blood, and it was just like 1 second you'd see blood on the floor, and then the blood would disappear. There was never like a wound on the person's leg when somebody get shot in the leg, and then also there'd be like a
Wow.
pool of blood. It was so, but then
Really?
he kind of like saved himself because this was supposed to be the premiere, and then at the end he was like, oh, we have a couple of distributors, we're gonna do a 3D version, and this isn't the final cut. We have to do some color correction, some sound correction, and some editing, as you can see from this cut. And there was already a 2.5-hour version that we cut down, and this version we've cut. So it's like, why did you do a fucking premiere then? So this wasn't a premiere. This
Apparently
was
the editor was working till about 2 in the afternoon that day, yesterday.
And I knew we were in trouble when he made the announcement. We recorded this on a Blu-ray, folks. So we're in a movie theater. We're not even watching it on film. We're watching it on a DVD player. It was like
Wow.
being here in this studio,
Right.
basically, watching like.
Yeah.
How many,
watching,
how
you
many
know.
people were there?
It was a packed
Say-
audience. Yeah, I mean,
it
there was.
pretty
Yeah,
full.
it was.
Oh, there was
full.
there was almost a fist fight before the movie.
Oh
even
yeah, there was
started.
one of the extras. Like there was a buddy of the extra. One of the extras was holding 2 seats for one of the extras and his wife, girlfriend, whatever.
Yeah.
And this other guy comes in with his wife, and I guess they had a couple other people coming in, and there was like a bunch of empty seats. And the guy, I don't know if he was being an asshole or not. I didn't hear how he asked. I think he just asked the gentleman to shift over without asking if he was
Yeah, he's
saving
like,
seats.
and this guy can move over one.
Yeah, he didn't even say, "Are you saving seats?" He said, "This guy can move over."
Right.
Never even asked the guy if he was saving seats or anything.
Right.
And the guy said, "Well, no, I can't." And then he basically made a comment like, "No, I'm saving all these fucking seats now," and like,
He's like, "No,
because you're being an asshole."
You're being an asshole.
And the guy was like, "What do you mean I'm being an asshole? You're saving." And the guy's counting the seats, and they were starting this big fight, and the guy wouldn't leave, and it was like this whole big production. And it was like, really? This is like this is the preview.
That was the best part.
That was the best part of the
of-
movie.
Wow. Was that in 3D?
That was in 3D.
Yeah. I feel really horrible if anybody is watching.
Oh.
Nobody's watching this. Nobody from the premiere.
But
watches
it serves them right for the
It's if they
for the way
can't
I felt.
admit that this was an atrociously bad movie, then they are delusional, Chris. I mean, seriously. Anybody who sat through that movie, who sat there and like, I mean, we've all in our lives created something that we thought was fantastic, and somebody might have said, you know what, that's really not that great.
Yeah.
And your friends and family are
We're
going to
on
say,
it right
oh,
now.
that's what I'm saying,
We
though.
created
you
this
know,
shit.
like, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
though. People have said, you know, like, your friends and family are always going to say, oh, you're a genius, that's great, that's fantastic. But if somebody from the outside world says, yeah, that's really not that great, you got to not be that delusional and be kind of like, oh, yeah, well, maybe they're right. And, I mean, the audience, I mean, the guy next to you playing footsie with you there, the guy flirting with you, you know, That guy was laughing throughout the whole movie, picking on
He
the whole
made me
fucking
laugh.
movie. That guy, and he was
Every
with one of
time.
the extras because he
Yeah.
was with one of the extras. He was
Really?
like a buddy of one of the extras. So the people, I mean, the big guy in front of us, he was one of the worst actors. That extra, he was like this big fat guy in the beginning of the film that has this fight scene with this character. We still don't know who the fuck she was.
Who the fuck was Beta?
We don't know.
Really, that still drives me up a fucking wall.
It was just
There's a character named Beta, and we don't know where she came from.
It was all this genetically.
There's not a lot of character building.
There's that was my big complaint. You don't care about anybody that gets killed. You don't care about anybody in the film because there's no character building. It was a convoluted plot, and the writing was just so atrociously bad. And it was unintentionally funny, and I don't think he was trying for any laughs. And it was just, and his acting I thought was horrible. John's
Really?
acting, like the only actor that was good was the guy that has a professional resume. The guy that's an extra in Little Fockers, okay? The guy that's like, the guy that's got this like...
Yeah, I mean, this is going...
The guy that plays the main villain, he's the only one that actually did a good job. There was a guy in the movie...
He was in Chips.
He was in Chips, there we go.
He played Jesus?
He was
Maybe
Jesus in
Jesus.
Chips. But there was another guy
CJ
last night
Hooker,
who was on a
MacGyver.
CBS show. He was another one of the main villain guys. He was like
Yeah.
the right-hand man, who was a horrible actor in this movie. He was
Really?
reading from cue cards in the film.
Really?
So John announces him and says, "Hey, this guy's at a hit NBC TV show." And the guy's like, "Actually, my show got canceled, and by the way, it was CBS."
Oh, really?
And he's like, "Oh, what was it?" He's like, NYC 22. It lasted like 2 episodes.
Walker,
And-
Texas Ranger.
And he goes, "Oh," and he goes, "Yeah, but I'm working on another pilot. I'm doing this or whatever." So another guy that got a series, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it was like, but he was trying to make, like, he didn't even research the people that were there. Like, you would
Yeah.
think he would have had a little bit of
Yeah.
a, if he's making this big announcement, the poor guy's sitting there like, "Yeah, hi, I'm a loser. I just got my show canceled. Thanks for bringing it up."
So John's not even a good actor?
John was more,
DeVere?
I mean, and again, I know he's Chris's
Yeah.
friend.
Yes.
And
Careful.
it's
Because I thought he was good in that scene that we saw when they...
at the diner there, the scene
Yeah,
between
yeah.
him and the girl.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
He seemed good in that.
We're trying to figure out. They have a scene in his apartment, which is the most minimalistic apartment. And the thing we were laughing about on the ride home was like, he has no food, but he has a perfectly like, he has like salt and pepper shakers on his table. He has like a diner table in his apartment. He had like throw pillows right on his
Yeah.
couch. Like he
He
has
the
like
most
a
fabulous
he has a
couch.
beautiful
Couches.
couch, but a minimalist.
Pillows.
But he has no food in his fridge, nothing. But he had like a perfectly filled salt and pepper shaker, and it was just kind of weird, like his whole the whole design of his apartment. Like it was just weird, like the whole thing. And it was like, I just thought his acting was so dry. I guess is the best way. Like it wasn't like his delivery of his lines weren't natural, and the way he wrote, if he wrote these parts, because it was co-written. But the way he wrote the interaction between the characters, it wasn't natural. The talking,
Really?
like he's molding this genetically altered hit woman to be his partner, and like he's kind of protecting her and saving her, being like the father figure for her. And it's like their conversation, even that conversation you're saying at the diner, like even when you're watching it in the context of the film, that might have been the best scene for them.
Right.
But throughout the whole movie, it seemed like it was all like, "You're wearing a very provocative outfit. You have no place to put that gun. Oh, you're saying I dress like a slut." It was like, it was like that's, and that, really? That's your, it was just, and like, there's a scene where, there was that, that laugh out loud scene where they blow up the oven because they put a can of Raid and it's distraction for the bad guys. They blow up the oven.
Yeah.
So then they all decide to work together, and because the government's out to kill them, and so then he's like, "All right, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that." And he says to the guy that runs the diner, he goes, "Al, I want you in the kitchen to whip me up something because I haven't had any lunch," or whatever it was, whatever the line is. "Al, go whip us up something because I don't know about you, but I haven't had any lunch." The oven's fucking blown up. Like, so it's like,
Right, right.
And the
but it
kid
was,
next to me pointed it out. He's like,
but it's like
Yeah.
they just
the oven?
blew up the kitchen.
Right.
And like the way he delivered the line, like I don't think he like
But
it
and
wasn't
the
even
fight
good
scenes
comedy.
At the end, when they're in the kitchen, there's no damage to
There's
that
no
oven.
damage to the
Oh,
oven. No,
really?
because
Yes,
it's all
there's this
computer
huge
animated.
explosion,
Yeah.
but everything's fine.
Oops.
Yeah, everything
Yeah.
looked fine. Well, because it's all After Effects computer animated.
Yeah.
But it was just like the fight sequences. They were talking about how they had all this mixed martial arts training. I don't know who trained them.
Yeah.
Maybe Steven Seagal because he hasn't been able to fight in years.
Right.
But you know, it was just like, and they did that technique that a lot of movies do now, where it's slow motion.
Yeah.
And one of the funniest things too was at the end of the film, she's walking away in slow motion. So it was like everything
Heels,
she
and
does.
you hear click.
Yeah, you hear her
You
heels
hear
going
the
clickety
click
click,
in the
click.
echo.
Really.
But it was like everything was in slow motion, and it was like, you know, every time there was a fight sequence, and even the camera angles, like they weren't even good camera angles for the fight sequences.
Really.
Yeah, you really didn't get a good view of fighting. Like it wasn't even good fighting, and the effects for the fighting were pretty cheesy. It was just like, and they had the sound off because you'd have like
Yeah.
Oh,
you know, like
no,
stuff like
really?
that. Yeah.
And the words too.
Yeah, the words
There-
were off a
there
little
quite
bit
few
sometimes.
scenes where
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was quite
And they said they
noticeable.
had to do some sound correction. That's what I'm saying. It
Oh.
wasn't-
And not only was the sound off,
Yeah.
the sound effects weren't even there half the time. So you saw the fight scenes, and
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah, it was like, how
Really?
dare you?
and it was like every
Like,
third
you know.
or fourth
Oh.
one there'd be no sound, and then
Yeah.
there'd be a sound effect. It was
Wow.
Or it would be
unusual.
like, you know,
noticeable. It was noticeable. It was
Bang,
glaringly
you know.
noticeable
Yeah.
when you're watching it.
yeah. And you would have this like really computer animated like flashbang from a gun,
Yeah.
and then you would see like,
in the passage of time.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
other-
that was the
They
other
used
funny
the stock footage of like the clouds going over the sun to show you that.
and then like
Oh,
this really
really?
bad like Windows Movie Maker, like, you know, what was it, 6 years later? 6 years later. It came on the
And why
screen.
6
Really?
It was like-
Really?
There was no
Yeah.
explanation as
Yeah.
to what happened in that 6-year period.
Well, supposedly he's training her, and you had the connection between the two, and he grew a goatee because it takes 6
it
years.
takes
to
6 years to grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it took me 7 to grow
Yeah.
this.
Because that's
So
how
I know
you
this.
determine, like, that's how they didn't age,
And grow
but
so
he
fast.
grew a goatee, so he
Yeah.
aged. That's how you tell he aged. And of course she's genetically altered, so she doesn't age.
Oh, makes
But
sense.
you know, so it makes sense.
That'd be funny if she had a goatee as well.
But the other thing that was like stupid was the whole
No,
like
she grew a blonde wig.
the other
That
she
was
had
the-
she
After 6 years, she grew a blonde wig.
she dressed like a whore. Like after 6 years, she learned
Literally,
how to
she
dress
was a
like a whore.
whore.
That was like the whole thing because that was his whole point. He was like, you're dressing derogatory. You know, you're wearing these like, you know, provocative outfits. You can't like, and she was.
And the typical guy sitting in front of the hotel room guarding the door is turned on by the woman in the blonde wig
Yeah.
and the red lipstick.
She's pretending to be a hooker, and like, oh, if you help me, I'll give you a handy in the back room, and you know, it was just really horrible. Like, it was so horrible. It was just, and there were people, and the thing was, is there was obviously the actresses or the extras, the people that were in the film. You knew they had their sorority sisters or their families there, because when they were on screen, like you'd have people
Yeah.
cheering.
Fucking
Yeah,
editor
right,
got
woo!"
it. Sound. Yeah.
But yeah, we're watching the end credits, and you would have like these, like, you know, catering by Kathy's Catering. Woohoo! Kathy's
They
Catering.
mentioned as my name. Yay.
Wow.
It was just, you knew you had all the locals there for the, you know, supporting their families.
Now,
and
when
stuff.
people applauded for the sound editor, did you like hear them actually applauding after that you would see
Yeah,
them clapping?
yeah, I saw these clapping, but we didn't hear anything until after. Like, I was like, who the fuck is clapping for the editing here? Come on. I mean, like, and you know, it's like, dude. And they were talking about how great the editing was. And I did feel bad for the girl that sat next to me because she was going on about, she saw the rough cut. She saw the 2.5 hour cut, and it was just a genius of a film. And she was.
What
she
did
was
they miss?
like,
What did
she
they
was-
cut out?
She was like, well, the story, obviously, because we still don't know. Like, we don't know what happened. We really don't know. We don't know why they were
Yeah.
there. Like, we couldn't figure out, like, and you had this whole, like, the scientist at the beginning is reading, like, bingo numbers because it's all these different women that they've experimented on, and he's a bad man because he tries to rape her while she's, like, while
Yeah.
she's under this
He's
green
that
goo.
guy.
He's that guy because he's an evil scientist, and he's like, you know, he gets caught literally with no pants down because there's no nudity. It was a pretty clean film except for
Yeah.
bad language and really horrible violence. But like, you know, with a big heel, like they had some really cheesy effects.
Did you get an R rating for horrible violence?
It was
And not like violence that's
Yeah.
really violent, but just horrible
But he's like
choreography.
he's in the middle of raping the girl, and the hitman walks in. He's like, "Oh, it's not what you think."
It's not what you think is I'm touching her.
Yeah, it's not what you think. Well, I
my
just
finger is
injected.
almost inside of her.
Yeah, I just injected her with some green goop, and I'm on top of her fully clothed. It's not what you think. It's what
I'm
all of
dry
us
humping.
scientists do. I'm dry humping my patient. It's not what you think, though. Don't kill me.
Don't kill me. I'm almost done.
Like, yeah, I'll be all set. And it was just, I don't know. It was just,
And like, he was going there to get the formula, but who is he delivering the formula to? Like this guy Sullivan.
Well,
Or
no,
was
because
that
no, he was
Sullivan later?
no. We couldn't figure out because the other thing was he was supposed to be delivering it to the general, but he's bringing it to one of the general's henchmen, and that was another
But-
horrible like
But
fight
wasn't the
scene.
general behind the whole
Yeah,
thing?
but that was the thing. But if you listen to the scientist was talking about the general wanted the formula,
I couldn't
and the
help
general
but watch the words not match the mouth. That was the problem.
and he was upset because the
I
general.
was focused so much
The
on
other
that.
like the other plot line was the two. You had alpha. You had all these beta. Beta was you had delta and alpha. Alpha and delta.
Stop with beta. We're
But
not discussing
We
beta.
started beta at the beginning. We couldn't figure out who the fuck beta was. Then you had alpha and delta, who were your other main two like characters. Alpha and delta were sisters, half sisters, who were the general's daughters. And the general, according to this voiceover at the beginning, the general was
There's
upset.
a voiceover.
Yeah, that's he's reading into a recording because
Yeah.
because this is going to become a plot point at the end of the film. You're going to find this tape because we still use cassette tapes in Massachusetts in this film because
For
we
real?
we
In
don't
2006 we were still using
2006
cassette tapes.
Oh,
we were
right,
using
6
cassette
years
tapes
ago,
'cause
yeah,
6 years
yeah.
ago, and we still couldn't figure out if it was supposed to be in Massachusetts or they just forgot to take the mass plates off all the vehicles. We don't know. We
And they're
don't-
using like extras vehicles, so
Yeah.
now their license plates are
They
forever
left,
ingrained
they
in
left
this film.
everybody's like his buddies' cars are all in this film. So if they don't edit those out, we can run all their plates. But it was like that was, and the other thing that was hard to figure out was it
The other thing,
you had the scientist
There's
is
only
reading
one
all
other
this
thing?
stuff, and the general had daughters. They were experimenting on the daughters because the general gave these daughters up for these experimentations. And like if the general found out the scientist was raping the daughters, like he would try to shut down the program and take the formula. And it was this really weird beginning.
Yeah.
And that's why like the hitman was hired to kill the scientist and take the formula. It was just this really stupid. It was just stupid. But I want a copy of the fucking movie. I really do.
I
'cause
wanna
it's so,
see it now.
It's so horrible.
That's what was ironic. This whole thing makes me really want
And
to
I'm
I
see
want the
sitting-
director's cut.
I do, and I'm sitting in church today next to my nephew Sam, and I'm saying, Sam, Chris and I went to this movie premiere last night, and I go, it has to be the worst movie. And Sam, the minute I said it has to be the worst, I have to see this movie.
Yeah.
Like, and I started explaining
Yeah.
the plot line, and I'm going on to the plot line to Sam, and I'm like, Sam's like, well, did they sell copies at the theater? I'm like, you think they would have? You think after sitting through the movie they
Well,
would
no,
have been
'cause
like,
it's not the final cut.
not the final cut,
shift,
but
so.
you would think they would have had. But
We need to see the final
yeah,
shift.
but then when I told him, Sam's looking at me and he's like, and I told him the whole thing about it being in 3D. He's like, well, we gotta go see it in 3D. It's in 3D.
That's the hook.
No matter where they play it, if it's at a Jordan's
We
Furniture
definitely
somewhere,
need to see this in 3D. it's at Mom or whatever
it's
that's.
at the Mom Theater in Jordan's. But it was like,
The 3D is just, it's gonna be
Ooh,
fantastic.
Wow.
You cannot
there's
go
nothing
see
in
this
it to be in
movie unless
3D
it's in
though. I
3D.
can't figure out what would be in 3D.
in 2 distributors.
It's 2 distributors in 3D. Like I was even saying to Chris, it's so bad it wouldn't even be on Sci-Fi.
Really?
It would not be. I can't even think of a channel that would play this. Lifetime, maybe. But I mean, not even Lifetime would play this. Like, I don't even see it being on Netflix. I don't know what would be playing this movie. I really don't.
We have to do a double feature. We'll have to do the final shift entitled to Murder.
This title Murder movie.
Yes, I don't believe there were special effects entitled for Murder, but it's been so long since I've seen it.
Really?
Yeah, but I think you can add special effects to title Murder. They obviously can add special
Yeah,
effects.
yeah.
Yes, after the fact.
So I mean, it's so atrociously bad. It maybe that's what's gonna get a cult following. It's
Like
Was it me or was the diner bathroom like the best bathroom in a diner ever?
were
It
they
had
at,
like the brick finish.
were they
and
at like
the
a
granite
Hilton?
top.
Were they at like a Hilton for that?
I think when they filmed the bathroom scenes, the diner was so shitty that they actually had to find another location.
Well,
for
I was
that.
wondering if that bathroom was because the
I think
apartment
it was from
looked
the
nice.
office build. I think it was all one place because every wall had brick finish.
Oh, okay.
Like the laboratory had a brick finish, or where Beta was. And don't get me
Yeah.
started on
Don't-
Beta.
yeah,
That
we
character.
still don't understand Beta.
In her training room, it was a conference room. Clearly,
Yeah.
a conference room with the brick finish in the windows,
Yeah.
and they had just taken the tables.
Like
out.
they
It
must
was
have rented.
this.
They must
It
have
was
rented an
this
office building
with
for
brick
like this.
wall, and then the diner bathroom. It's a rundown diner. You can tell it's a rundown diner. All the furnishings were old and everything, but the
Yeah.
bathroom was fabulous. It was like the most spotless bathroom I've ever seen in a diner.
Huh.
So I think there were some elements that
There was some that were
clearly
kinda,
took you out of
You had to
the moment.
suspend disbelief a little bit.
And Matt
For
in the
most
chat room
movies.
says he will wait for the DVD. No, you won't. We're gonna shove this movie down your throat.
I think
That's
we
what we're
should have
gonna
a
do.
special episode where we just play the movie.
Yeah.
I think we should.
Yeah.
We should just. I mean, I don't think we're going to be ruining any copyright laws because really, I don't think there is any with that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure. You know.
One of our frequent guests of the show, Scott Perry, says hello to you guys. He may be
hey,
joining us
Scott.
next week.
Haven't seen Scott in a while.
Yeah, I don't think he's actually watched. I just happened to catch on Facebook that
Does Scott have enough gas to get here next week? Is that will he be able to? That was his excuse for a couple of weeks.
it's the same one that he used right now.
Is it
Yeah.
the same excuse? Okay.
I told him he can send me a message and I will be happy to come pick him up.
But
He knows how to repay me. Yes,
Yeah.
he does.
Well, he'll take you to the 3D version of the final shit.
Have you guys ever seen The Room?
The Room.
No.
Yeah. It's regarded as one of the worst films of all time.
The
It's-
Room.
It's so bad, it's funny.
Is that the one that the Cartoon Network plays on April Fool's Day every year?
Oh, I don't know.
Because there's one movie where it's this guy he's the writer, producer, director.
Johnny, I forget his last name.
Yeah, the Cartoon Network will do that as an April Fool's prank
Oh, I
every
didn't know
year.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word. It is. It's one of the worst movies ever.
But it's
The
so
Room.
bad.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's so yeah. It's I want to say that's the
It's
yeah
all over YouTube.
yeah oh yeah and it's yeah Cartoon Network.
Tommy Wiseau?
Oh yes, yes.
Wiseau?
Yeah.
Tommy Russo. Yeah.
Tommy
He
Wiseau.
yeah he actually
He looks like
The best thing is
he
just
looks like a stoned Christopher Walken in that picture.
the best thing is just the way he says hi to people. You know, it's so awkward and poor. Like,
and it's like
if you walked in the room and he'd say, "Oh, hi, Dan."
yeah
It's great.
Hi.
he's such a
damn.
horrible yeah he's such a horrible
I had
actor.
to watch it twice because somebody. I have a friend, Nate Babowski, who's a film major, and he loaned me a copy of the DVD because he said you have to see this. It's the worst movie ever.
According to Wikipedia, the film has been dubbed the Citizen Kane of bad movies
Yeah.
and one of the worst films ever made.
Yeah, but it's so bad. It's compulsively watchable.
It's because it's like a dinner party, right? The whole movie is him.
There's
Like for
three
most of it, he's at like a party,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
like he's got
There's 3 paragraphs on Wikipedia of inconsistency and narrative flaws.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen
I know
a
it's about-
movie on Wikipedia ever have inconsistency and narrative flaws based like have an entire paragraph devoted to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know he's got problems. Like there's like a problem with his girlfriend in the film. Like he has because I haven't watched the whole movie because I've only caught it like in bits and pieces. But for Cartoon Network for the longest time
I didn't know that.
would do on April Fool's Day. They never show it in their viewing guide. They'll show their regular programming.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you would turn on their programming and they would be playing that nonstop,
No
24
kidding.
hours a day. It would be
Oh,
that
wow.
movie over and over again.
Huh.
And I remember one year when
Wow.
they said they were going to premiere this like great movie for everybody, and they played like the world premiere of it,
Yeah.
and just played it nonstop, and everybody
No
was
kidding.
like, yeah, they did 2 things like that. They did that, and I don't know if they keep doing it every April Fool's Day, but it's been like a tradition
Yeah.
where April 1st you turn on Cartoon Network and it's that stupid movie.
Wow.
They need to use the final shift in
The final shift.
the realm of Rocky Horror Picture Show where you can talk back to the movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, Plan 9
Just-
from Outer Space was always considered one of the worst movies ever
Yeah.
made. Like, if you look at this movie we saw last night, Ed Wood is a genius compared to anything that Ed Wood ever made. Like, and I mean, even if Mystery Science Theater did if they were still doing a show and they had the final shift on
Yeah.
there as a, like, that wouldn't even do it justice because this movie was so horrible. It
Wow.
was just so, like, it is. And I haven't seen any of his other work, so I can't judge his
We do
other
have to
work.
see CO2.
We have to see
We have to see
CO2.
CO2
And the other one prior to that,
to
but
compare.
because what was the one before that? There was the movie before CO2 that everybody was talking
27 across or
about.
27
Something like
down.
that. 27 down. It was like a crossword puzzle movie.
It was.
Like it's about a guy
Something
sitting in a
about
diner
puzzles.
doing a crossword puzzle.
And it was the same diner.
This was the same.
Yeah.
He's yelling at everybody in the room. I need a 27 word.
Is atrocious
It's an
27
it's
letters?
it's an hour and a half of that just asking.
Abortion of a film, is that
Yeah,
27
but-
letters? Oh, that's accurate.
But it just, you know, I don't know if this. Do you think this movie will ever get seen ever again? Do you think?
There's so many films out there that don't see the light of day.
You
For
know,
a reason.
Yeah.
because
For
I
a
mean,
very
maybe
good reason.
maybe he will, like, you know, because I think people were kissing his ass last night. I really do, because people were going on and raving about, oh, this is a great movie, oh, this is fantastic. And I think that the girl that was next to me, I think even after the film, I think when we were walking out, I think she was still raving about the film. Like, I think
Really?
she was still going on about, oh, this movie's so great. This is work of genius. Oh.
We went in as cynical assholes because we.
Oh, no, we did
we
not.
are cynical.
Yeah.
No,
assholes.
we did not. I expected it to be a good movie.
Even told Matt yesterday when I saw him in the afternoon.
You were jaded
not
because
going in.
Matt told you it was going to be atrocious. I was thinking it was going to be a great film. I was excited to see it because I was like, you know what? It's got science fiction. It's got hitmen. It's got like, you know, it's got like
You were excited
pedophiles.
to see it
It's
because
got,
you
like-
knew what tonight was gonna be like. You knew
I
exactly
was
what
like-
tonight was gonna
I'm
be
like,
like.
this movie doesn't look atrocious in any way.
Because if you did
No.
like it, this would not be
Every
happening
single
right now.
trailer, every single clip that he put out, and the fact that
only
he was
two, I
being
think.
mysterious,
They-
and the
they
fact
never got
that,
to 1,000
yeah,
likes.
the
That's-
fact that he wouldn't
Feel
put out
bad.
any other information about the film, I was like, no, this looks so good. The quality of this looks phenomenal. How dare you accuse me of going in there being very cynical that I didn't think this was going to be
Because
a
I've
great
been doing
movie.
a show with you for 81 episodes.
I was sitting there going,
I know
"What?"
you. You
I
are
thought-
Now, have you seen some of his other work? Because you know him. I mean, have you?
I've not seen CO2 and I haven't seen the crossword puzzle.
The crossword puzzle.
I have not seen Sudoku the movie.
Sudoku.
I,
2, Electric Boogaloo.
I directed John in theater shows myself.
How did that go?
Is he better in theater?
Yes, actually, he
Yeah.
is. He is at home on stage.
Yeah.
In front of a live audience, but I think he feeds off of that.
Yeah.
The thing I think he had the biggest problem with is he wrote, or he co-wrote, so he was trying to act his own lines. I think if he had been given somebody else's material to memorize and not focus so much on the co-writing and the directing,
So you're saying
we probably
that-
would have gotten a better performance out of it.
Yeah.
So that may be the issue. Is the fact that
That's
he was
my
focusing.
constructive criticism. I love John.
No, he seems
if
like
I
a great
direct
guy.
again, I would cast him again. But
You think he had too many hats?
maybe a little stiff. Yeah.
Too many hats with this project. Because he
think
was
so.
focused. Like maybe if he didn't act in it, maybe if he wasn't the lead actor. You think if maybe he focused on writing and editing his work and maybe rewriting. Do you think maybe?
I'm trying to say you're
Maybe
not.
placement of the boob.
Do you think maybe? No, but it's not his job to edit.
Continuity.
Like I'm not blaming him for the editing. I think the editor, it's his fault.
Yeah.
But it's the. But I mean, we can look. I can point out Spielberg's movies. There's so many flubs and crap
Oh,
in Spielberg.
sure.
I think
Oh, in any
Spielberg
film.
movies. Yeah, but Spielberg movies, especially every
Really?
Academy Award, like anytime a Spielberg movie comes out and you look at Academy Awards for editing, Spielberg movies win them. And I can point out flubs in every single Spielberg movie that's won editing awards.
Yeah.
Like Jurassic Park won Best Editing, like Academy Awards. There was like 90 film flubs in Jurassic Park alone in editing. Like
Really?
you have doors opening and closing on like the SUVs while it's like, come on. There's simple little things that like you notice when you first sit there and watch the movie. An editor who's watching the film continuously doesn't see these little things
Yeah.
that the average theater goer sees.
I think a big one was The Graduate, when the scene towards the end where God, what's his name? Dustin Hoffman, thank you. He was in the convertible and he's driving. Where he was driving on the Golden Gate Bridge, tried to go see Golden Gate, going to see Elaine. He's driving in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Anybody in California was like,
They're like
he's going
the opposite.
away from Berkeley. He should be actually on the bottom level of the Golden
Yeah.
Gate Bridge.
It's funny.
But
Yeah,
it's just
stuff like that.
stuff like
It's stuff
that
that
you
we
would think.
wouldn't think of.
But it's the fact that you're watching, like, as a film goer, you're noticing it, though, when you first see it. You think the editor who's watching the film should pick that up, because that's his
Right.
job.
I want you to name one thing that was wrong with the
Didn't we just spend the last, I
think
don't
we
know,
did.
yeah,
one continuity.
I-
Beta.
well, Beta, the boom mic, in the, like, the boom mic in the diner scene. The other issue we had was Tommy
And
Chong in the
I
movie.
was sitting there waiting for that. Oh yeah, Tommy Chong. I was that kid who was sitting next to me playing footsie. I was waiting for him because I'm staring at the boom mic and I'm like,
He's gonna mention the boom mic. He's
I'm
gonna mention
kind of
the boom
giving him
mic.
one of these and I'm like,
Do you see the
you've
boom
been
mic?
commenting through the entire film. Do you see the fucking mic?
Tommy Chong is talking, and there's a boom mic above his head.
Yeah.
People, yeah, they
Tommy
had.
Chong was in the movie?
Well, they had
Yes.
this guy. They had this guy. This is what we
Supposedly.
can't figure out either because we don't know. Maybe it was the 70s because there was this guy that shows up in the film
Yeah.
with a denim jacket, denim pants,
And he was
long
a
hair.
regular at the
He was
diner.
a regular diner, but he was a 1970s hippie,
Yeah.
all anti-government, all crazy, drugged out hippie. So we can't figure out what fucking year this movie took place because who the hell still acts like that nowadays that has money to go buy a hamburger at the diner, right? And I mean, it was like, we couldn't figure that out. We're like, okay, they're driving modern vehicles, so it can't be the 70s.
And the scientist did say 2006 in his,
Yeah, he did.
his tape recorder.
And it's like this guy comes in, he's all like, hey, everybody, hey, peace, love, hey, that guy ain't getting, hey, everybody, oh, the government, man, hey. And it was like, really? Like, why do you even put that character?
3 years old in Vietnam.
You know, why do you even put this guy in the movie? Why do you, he was trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Let's put this crazy, wacky, but why make him a hippie?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why make him this, like, 70s hippie guy? Like, what was that supposed to be? Why make it a Tommy Chong impersonator?
The tagline.
The guy, and I think this is what we laughed about. They had the Q&A at the end of the film. The guy that played the hippie left early because he didn't want to be a part of it. Maybe he got disgusted because he saw how bad the movie was.
I can't be part of this. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't be
He
part of
was
this.
probably like, you know what? Fuck this.
Yeah.
You know, I had fun pretending to be Tommy Chong. I gotta get the hell out of here. But it was like, because we couldn't figure that out. Because it's like, why? Are there still hippies out there right now that go to Al's Diner in Massachusetts, wherever we determined that was?
The tagline of the film is, they thought she would make the perfect weapon. They were right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because she's a bomb.
I felt
the entire thing was
wait a
a
minute.
bomb.
I felt uncomfortable. So that you know that was a good weapon. I mean, I felt abused. I felt hurt. I felt.
Now, how long is the film?
Was it like 90 minutes, 88 minutes? I don't
Okay,
know.
Too long.
Yeah.
It was
94 minutes too long.
it was nice. You know, I do want to see the 2.5 hour director cut though. If he ever wants to release that
Yeah.
special edition, but it's just I don't know. I do want to see it again. I feel there's a lot I missed.
Yeah.
I really do. I feel like I'm being very cruel because I might have missed some parts. It's kind of like when I went and saw Avengers. I felt like I missed a lot in Avengers, so I want to see this again because there's so much going on in Avengers.
27 Down was the name of the other
27
film
Down.
that he directed.
Like this movie, I felt like there was so much going on at once that I missed it, and you know, and
Such an asshole.
like, it was just, like,
A true asshole, but still.
yeah, Buddy
Oh,
Madsen's
God,
right there. You
that-
never know. Maybe better the second time around. You're right. It might be.
If
I
I-
might change my mind.
If I'd known
Needs to
you to have
marinate.
some interest into it, I would have gotten another ticket so that you could have sat through what we sat through.
Yeah. Wow.
Matt in the chat room says, "You never know; it might
That's-
be better
I
the
just
second
said,
time."
were you
Oh,
not
that's-
listening to what I just
no,
said?
I never listened to you.
Wow.
No, it's gonna be better when we see it in 3D.
we see it in
have
3D.
to wait for the 3D.
when we see the
copy.
3D, which whoever distributes it, when it's distributed in Somalia,
Yeah.
or
And
where-
by 3D, they're just gonna take the disc and throw it at people. You don't want to watch this.
I don't
Was
know.
there anything about the ending that indicated that maybe there will be a sequel?
No, he said he doesn't do sequels though, because they asked him. They
No,
said
he
Final
doesn't do
Shift too.
sequels. He just recycles his actors and puts them into different roles.
Different
is
roles,
what he
which
said.
Oh, like Tarantino.
yeah, Tarantino does, and somebody else
Yeah.
does that too.
Well, Christopher Guest does it with all his films.
Christopher
Oh,
Guest,
yes,
but
yes.
somebody else like does that with Ed Wood was known for doing that too. But,
Scorsese uses De Niro all the time.
Yeah. But the
And I was gonna say Joe Pesci, but Joe Pesci pretty much plays the same character in each one.
but the movie left so much unanswered though. Really, they need to have a sequel.
I think that I think the biggest question was why.
I mean, I don't want to ruin the film, but
Why?
everybody's dead. So I mean, really, can anybody?
Yeah.
Well, like, there are some people that survive, but I mean, the movie.
Just one. It was just,
No, because you had the people in the basement. That the ones that can't
Oh,
fight, the
yes.
weaklings. Let's send the weaklings to the
yes,
basement.
the one who wanted
The whore.
the one
whore.
who wanted it. Come and get me. No. Yeah, no.
Oh, Matt has a point. How can you do a sequel on something called The Final Shift? That's true. That's a good point.
The final shift.
The second shift.
The final shift. Really.
Yeah. The third shift. You know, you can do a whole thing of them. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just I
Time
mean,
to clock back in.
but I mean, you could have the Christian, the Christian wife who turned out to be the whore. You could
Yeah.
have her. You could have her have like her own sequel.
She'll be baited too.
Yeah, she. Oh, maybe.
They
Well, no, that
trained
was the
her.
other thing is how they proved you were a shapeshifter is they had to put like burning, like hot on you and you were a Smurf, like you turned blue.
Yeah.
So like that's how you knew you were a
And
shapeshifter.
hers wasn't blue.
Like,
it was black.
Yeah, she had like black. It wasn't even blue, but still. Yeah, that's how that's how you tell.
Oh, and let's give the bad guys back their guns. That was the
Yeah.
other one. Like,
And
oh,
I was
there
like,
you go.
oh, we're all fighting on the same team now, so all the bad guys get to keep all the guns.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys all have your guns. You just killed. Like it was. What was funny is the bad guys kill a whole bunch of people's like family members and loved ones, and then they all decide because the government's the bad people, they're the ones killing
The hot
everybody.
EMT.
You know, yeah. So it's like, oh well, since we're all fighting for the same team now, here, take all your guns back, and oh, we forgive you for killing my boyfriend and killing this guy and killing my sister. It's like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, okay, here you go. Yeah, we're all gonna fight the government now. It's like, here you go.
Well, that happens sometimes.
Yeah,
in a
it
diner,
does.
You know.
But it reminded me of this other movie called Feast, and that's why I think he
Sure.
ripped off the movie Feast, because
Yeah.
Feast takes place in like a diner or a roadhouse where it's these mutated creatures outside that are eating the people in the diner, basically. But it's the same premise where you have all these people trapped in a diner, but instead of having these mutated beasts, you have the top secret government waiting outside to kill everybody. And it was like, so that was one of the films that I kept thinking about. But Feast actually is a really cheap B movie that actually is good.
Really?
Like it's one of those movies, and HBO or one of those channels actually, it was one of those Project Greenlight movies. I don't know if you ever heard of Project Greenlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, Feast was one of those Project Greenlight movies. So you actually got to see Feast being made, and it was very interesting to see. And Feast, I think, has 3 sequels. But the, but this just reminded. Did you find Al's Diner? Is it a real place?
I'm looking right now.
But
I'm still remembering what the Final Shift sequel would be called.
but the Feast, yeah, but Feast was actually a good movie, and it actually was kind of a creepy, good horror film. But this movie, like, it had that same premise, but the premise of having people trapped in one room
Yeah.
is not an original premise
No,
anyway.
no.
It's been done to death, and I mean, it's like, and it was just, and shape shifting. And the thing about the shape shifting though, it was like,
Al's Place?
wasn't it called like Al's Family Diner? I thought that's what the name of it in the movie was.
Probably be
Oh,
hard
no,
to
it's
find
Al's Pla-
because
it's-
there's probably a lot of diners with that name actually.
Yeah, but
Anyone who's ever been a fan of Happy Days who opens it.
Oh,
up
that's
will
it,
know.
right
That's
there.
it. Al's
That's it.
Place, because
Yeah.
they had to cross out Pepsi on the side.
Yeah,
Did you
oh,
notice
yeah.
that too?
Yeah,
that
'cause there was no
Pepsi was blacked
sponsorship,
out.
yep.
Oh really?
It's basically they took the sign, took Windows Paint, and just
They
drew
just drew it out. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
the
looks
visual
just like the
effect
scene
they
in the
used.
movie. Yeah.
Wow.
So it is an actual location. So they didn't even change the name of the diner.
Nope.
They kept it the same. It's for sale though, right? So it was an empty
Just
diner.
like they didn't change the license plates.
They didn't change the license plates or use fake license plates like most movies do. But they didn't have a budget. They probably had nothing for a budget.
Yeah.
So, you know, it makes sense. But it was just so the diner was in Haverhill then. So where
It's
they
on Facebook.
so now that they're gonna have a big Al's Diner,
Why
home
did
of the
they have-
final shift.
Why didn't they show the premiere at Al's Diner?
They
Yes.
should have. They should have done that.
They could have.
But it was just funny because they were going on about how, you know, there's not a lot of independent filmmaking and independent movies are dying out and it's good to see independent films, but yeah, not in this case. No, that's you know, we'll take those popcorn big blockbuster Avenger type films. We'll take those over this any day. You know, I'd rather spend, you know, 10, 15, 20 bucks and go see a piece of shit
Yeah,
movie.
they've closed.
You know? Well, I'm sure they're not in business anymore because they blew up their oven.
Yeah.
They, you know, they have
Right,
a lot.
right.
They have a lot of gunshots everywhere.
They got
and-
that fake paint everywhere. The red blood.
I just, we didn't mention the fact that there's a guy that gets his head caved in by a heel. It's like
A single white
Yeah.
female
it's like
with the stiletto heel. Yeah.
she gets pissed because you know daddy gets hurt, and she puts the gun away. I'm not gonna shoot you. I'm gonna beat you in slow motion with my fist. And she starts punching the guy, and then she starts kicking him in the head with her foot. And the guy, you see his one scene, you see him, he's got like his face is all bloody, and then you get this slow motion like boot to the head, and then you see his head again, and he's got this really like horrible like just the head is kind of like split open with like a big like boot heel print like opened.
Wow.
His eye socket
Like his
out
eye
and stuff,
socket
yeah.
is out,
Ew.
and the woman that was in front of me that was with one of the extras, I don't believe they kept that in. That is so gory. That is so disgusting. It was like the cheapest looking effect. It looked like a watermelon, you know. Like
I
it
think
was
our
like,
entire row started pissing ourselves laughing when we saw
like
it.
it was just No, there were people laughing. Like, the people in the corner were having a good time. They were hooting and hollering and laughing throughout the whole movie. Like, there were people laughing.
Yeah.
And it was like people were laughing at stuff you shouldn't be laughing at.
Right.
I mean, when people were getting shot and people were getting stabbed and you know, one of the characters is sitting there slashing throats. People are laughing. You shouldn't be laughing at that type of, you know, that's not healthy. All right, we weren't in a prison watching this movie. Okay, I can understand if we were sitting in a federal prison,
Right.
watching a slasher film, having a room full of like psychopaths laughing, then yes, that would make sense. But no, we're in this movie theater and people are, and it wasn't a goofy film. It wasn't it wasn't a spoof on, or maybe he's gonna say it was a spoof now. Maybe he'll try to be. Oh no,
that could be. That's a clever tactic.
You know,
to use.
I'm spoofing these type of movies.
Right.
You know, it's a spoof. Those were over the top effects.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to, you know, because there are. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Hatchet, which is another independent film. It's an independent slasher film. It's actually, they've had two of them now, Hatchet 1 and 2.
Isn't that good?
It's actually, Hatchet's another one of those movies that's it's not a bad movie. It's actually really good, and it's one of those like stupid plots because it's about, you know, I think it's New Orleans where it takes place, but you're on like a boat trip in New Orleans to see like this voodoo boat trip tour, and you have some maniac killer. You know, it's a stupid teeny bopper plot that all those slasher films have.
Yeah.
But he made it. The guy that made Hatchet made it as a whole take on that type of film. Like, he did it intentionally to be like, oh, here's my homage to the Friday the 13th. Here's my homage to these really over the top, and the killings in the movie are so over the top. He's doing it intentionally funny.
Like Evil Dead 2.
Like Evil Dead 2.
Because the
Like,
first one, he wasn't intentionally supposed to be
No.
funny, and then when Sam Raimi was showing it to people and they started laughing, he's like, I'm going to do the sequel. It's pretty much going to be in the same vein as the first
oh yeah,
one.
the sequel's the same
But
movie.
Right.
it's just going to be so over the top.
And those are called classics now.
And yeah, if you can make fun of it, if you can see the humor in it, that's it's when people start taking it so seriously. Like, and this is the reason why I filmed it this way, or why I wrote this scene exactly like
But
this.
it's
But why did you leave a salt and pepper shaker on the table if you don't have food?
You don't have food. And why did you have glasses on that
Yeah.
table? And why did you have like?
I don't know, and I don't know if that was the character of Frank leaving
You
his
know,
glasses,
are you
or
trying to
John
figure
just
that
forgot
out?
to take the glasses
Right.
off the table.
Right.
But it just, and I mean, like same thing with Hostel.
Because his
the
character
movie.
never wore glasses throughout the entire film.
Well, no, he puts them on. Doesn't he put them on in the? I think he puts them on during like one of the scenes. Doesn't he put them on in the diner at one
Were you
point?
paying attention to that?
I think he did. I think he puts them on in the diner at one point because 6 years later he needs glasses at one point because he's older, you know. And he's but like Hostel. Hostel's another one of those movies.
I love Hostel.
But that's another movie that uses over the top
Yeah.
graphics, and they do it intentionally. And there are scenes that are kind of gross and disgusting, but there are scenes that you look at that you'll be like, okay, you can't take it seriously, and you can laugh at something where you're kind of like, okay, this isn't. You're not. He's over the top, and you're laughing at it. And the filmmaker of Hostel, Eli Roth, he intentionally did it again because these are people. Same thing with Rob Zombie. When you watch Rob Zombie movies, like I personally think House of a Thousand Corpses is one of the greatest horror movies ever made, and because he's so over the top, because he's doing it in that type of sense where he's doing an homage. But they're so, like, he turns a character in House of a Thousand Corpses, I don't know if either one of you have ever seen that movie.
I haven't seen
He turns a character into a fish man. Like, they cut a guy in half and put him and attach him to a fish, because it's like, there's all these weird, wacky things that they do in this movie that are so funny. It's so sick and disturbing and one of the grossest movies you'll ever watch. And he even had to cut the movie up because the film wouldn't be released, and they'd never released the director's cut. But because it's so over the top, he did it intentionally. This movie last night, I don't think there was any intentional over the top. Like, I think he was trying to be serious. I think he was looking at this
We
like
can
this is his.
have our own opinion on that.
I don't, you know, I
Like
didn't think
the
that.
heel in the face.
You know, I mean,
Maybe
was
that
he
was
serious?
intentionally to be
Was
funny.
he trying to be funny? Because
It
people were
certainly
laughing.
made us laugh. Yeah, there was a lot of people laughing at that scene.
But like I said to you on the ride home, I'm like, does he have something against the government though? Because he seemed very anti-establishment. There seemed to be a message there too. It seemed to have this hidden message that, you know, the government's bad.
I'm never
You
getting
know,
invited to a premiere.
They're you know. Nobody's watching. Nobody's listening. Nobody knows. They're not. He's not, because they did their promotion. That's all they did. And you know what? When it
Oh,
comes
so
out,
you know what he's doing right now? Editing.
he's edited.
So-
Yeah, but he knows. He admitted at the end of the film it still needed work. Because they were, he admitted. And again, it didn't make sense to me. Usually when you have a premiere, that means the movie's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then when the girl told me yesterday that they already had a showing a couple months earlier where they showed it to a whole bunch of people, he had done it already previous. To
Really?
yeah, and I guess he invited a whole bunch of people over to another theater, and they showed like the 2.5-hour cut, and people got to see that.
Celtics are up 65-54.
So-
we'll do that one update.
So it was just. So who knows? Maybe he'll do another premiere. Maybe
I
he'll
hope he can bring it up here,
bring it up here.
so that our
Yeah.
loyal viewers will be able to see it.
Well,
'Cause
I'm
we do have a
sure-
lot of New Hampshire and Matt's in Leominster.
You know
which
who will
is
probably
close
have
to
it?
the border.
That theater in Concord.
Oh, the Red
River Theater. They
yeah.
probably will because they do. That's the theater I was thinking about
Yeah.
last night. They do a lot of local movies. In fact, don't they do a film? They do a movie like every year. They do a film festival.
Do they? I
Yeah,
don't
they
know.
do a film festival every year where they actually have a whole bunch of local
Matt
independent
says
films.
he'd go see it with us if
So-
it was up here.
Yeah, so I think maybe his movie will be there. That maybe he should bring it to that local film festival.
I was gonna ask him that during the Q&A session, and then I just didn't want to.
If he's gonna watch
I just if he's gonna bring it
Put
around,
on the
he's gonna
circuit.
tour it.
He should.
Hey, who's that handsome guy
He should tour it.
standing next to me?
He should tour it on the
We're not
circuit.
standing. We're sitting.
Are we say? Oh, that's a good picture too.
You guys did the show on Hampton.
That's
We're
from
done
We
talking
did a
about it.
live show from Hampton Beach. Roulette at Large gone global. Only 52 minutes late.
Only 52 minutes. Left.
Only 52.
Is that a
minutes
record?
late. I don't. Is he sleeping?
He's got the headphones on. He's listening. He's listening to the show.
It was a lot of fun. It could have turned out differently.
No, it went well. I had a good time.
Yeah.
Kristen had a good time. We had to buy sweatshirts because
It was
cold.
Freezing.
We got there and I felt foolish. I just took for granted because it had been so hot lately. I'm showing up in my short sleeve shirt and like, wow, it's cold.
Yep. I left Manchester in t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah.
But I packed jeans and a sweatshirt just in case.
Yeah.
I got something earlier here that I didn't notice until now. Is Celtic pronounced Celtic or Celtic? When referring to the Celtic people, their languages and culture, modern scholars tend to pronounce the word with a K sound, recalling the original form of the word. When referring to sports teams that call themselves Celtics or Celts, bearing in mind these sport figures do not generally represent the most careful speakers, we use the S sound. The Irish say Celtic and Celts, the Americans say Celtics and Celts. Both are technically correct, it just depends on whether you want to pronounce it the American way or the Irish way. So, like Glenn
was
said,
right.
Glenn was right. So finally, Glenn R.J. Olette was correct in something tonight.
He was due for one.
so,
He was due for one.
so he has finally said something correct on this show. We would like to give Glenn R.J. Olette a prop for that. Thank you, Glenn.
6 a.m.
And thank you to my girlfriend for providing that food for Glenn's fodder to prove that Glenn was actually correct.
Yes.
So somebody is in Glenn's side right there.
Yeah.
She is putting the ball back in Glenn's
Yay,
court.
Glenn, Matt in the chat room says. So yeah, if you missed the excitement at Hampton Beach, you can go to QCEnews.com.
I can really
And you can check out the live feed that we had.
and see the stylistics or whatever it was. The
Continentals.
The Continentals.
Minus their original lead singer.
How old are the Continentals?
Years.
Are they doing their
Years and
50th,
years.
60th tour? What are they doing?
I don't. I'm 34, and I remember them from when I was 7 or 8 playing at
Are they
Hampton Beach
African American
every year.
gentlemen or are they
No,
white?
they are not.
They're white, right?
Yes, they are.
All right. I thought they were one of them
They're
doo-wop
not.
bands.
They're not wrong. They're white.
Okay. I thought they were
Um,
one of them.
God, that sounded very. What's the word? Aryan Nation.
Aryan?
If you're not wrong, you're white.
Yes.
That's mighty white.
That's Thank you very much. And there's a live fireworks show at the end as well.
Ooh, really? I
There
love
is.
fireworks.
Yes, and there's a lot of
Wow.
awkward camera work because it's basically my webcam on my laptop.
Are you
so I'm
doing this with
I'm
the
doing
laptop?
this.
Ooh, ooh. Wow.
We had a lot of viewers. I was I was excited.
Well, because other people probably didn't
It was
want to
hard.
get. It was probably really hard, like to get down there, and probably was like there was probably a lot of people there, right? That was a big event. So some
no,
people
it
probably
could've been
didn't want to
more.
drive there.
Could have easily been a lot more if there was better weather.
Mm-hmm.
But the Governor Lynch was there, along with a few other state representatives to do the dedication.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that was recorded that Glenn is working on editing right now. We'll just do all the stuff together.
Excuse me. A big shebang.
Yeah.
So that was the.
Oh, and he was at a Toronto Blue Jays Sox game. Our friend, our friend Matt,
can
yes,
watch.
who was up in Canada. Yay.
But he can download the
See,
show.
maybe Matt from Leominster will be available for 6 a.m. next Saturday to help us.
Would Matt want to? Matt would
Go
probably
down to
help out.
Boston Pride.
Now, so there's one
I ain't
on-
getting my ass up at that
So
time.
you have 6 a.m. So you have Boston Pride coming up this Saturday.
Boston
and then
Pride
there's
this Saturday.
Providence Pride.
Providence
Saturday
Pride
after.
the Saturday after. And as it turns out, I'll be taking a trip down to New York the following Saturday, the 23rd. And apparently, I think that's going to be New
No.
York Pride at that time.
Is New York Pride that time? So, so is it every is June like Pride Month? Is that really what it is, or is it just
But you know what they say, June is busting out all over.
But isn't June also some other month though too? It's not just Pride Month, right? Isn't it some other month? I thought it was in
Well, it's
June.
also Father's Day is in June.
Well, Father's Day
which
is
is
in
ironic.
June. Yeah. But I thought that like June was another like there was something else that this month of June there was like another like major
It's
like.
the Asian History Month.
Is that what it is? Is it Asian? No, I thought it might be though, isn't it? I think it is. I think it's Asian culture and history though. I really do.
Huh.
I thought it is, unless that was May. Maybe it was May that was Asian history and culture, but I thought it was one of those other like. Because what would happen if you were gay and Asian? Like
You'd
would
be
you
Gaysian.
You would be Gaysian, and would you have Gaysian
You have
pride?
a
Would
Asian
there-
invasion.
You know, do they have like a Chinatown like pride like day like like yeah? Because
They'll have
you
the
know,
rainbow-colored dragon.
yeah, is that what
down
it
the
is?
street.
Rainbow dragons and lions and everything, and they just that would be neat.
And
I'd
they
go,
would actually
I'd go
put
cover.
cream
I'd
of
get up
some
for
young
6
guy
a.m.
on the
and go do
menu.
that. I'll go do that at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
If you can guarantee rainbow dragons, I'll go do that with you guys. You know, that sounds like it'd be fun.
Good luck.
If I wasn't, going to get some stuff to move to storage because the house is going on the market, I'd get up at 6 a.m.
Dead air.
Dead air.
Yeah, there. I had to take a drink of water because I
Sorry.
was out shooting guns. My
You-
inner nuge.
Yes, yes.
My inner nuge today. That's why I'm wearing the. And I just. By the way, while we've been on the air, I don't want to freak anybody out. I killed 3 ticks. By the way, I took a shower when I got home. Like I just got home, took a shower, and came out here,
Mhm.
thinking the shower was going to wash all the ticks off me because a couple ticks came off my body in the shower. And sitting here, I've had ticks crawling up my leg, and I'm like, oh great! So I've just killed
Wow.
3 ticks while I've been here.
Yeah.
So that's great. So I love
And in
ticks.
3 months, we'll be showing this episode as the in memoriam to Dan Randlatt.
Yes.
Well, I don't think they're
Lyme
deer
disease.
ticks. The deer ticks are those smaller,
You
like.
probably have Lyme disease now. Just
No,
like Daryl Hall.
I'll be like Daryl Hall, and this will be like that Daryl Hall internet show that he does there.
Live from Daryl's
Daryl
house.
Hall,
Which is
and
great.
and I'll be
It's
like, oh, his
awesome.
show's great. His
It's
show
awesome.
his show
Oh,
is
yeah.
fantastic, and it's
Really good.
and if you ever watch like Daryl Hall now that he has the Lyme disease and his whole family has fucking Lyme disease, like everybody in his family does, and the only person that doesn't have Lyme disease is Oates. So he hates Oates even more now.
Yes.
Like he's always hated Oates, but now he hates him even more. Like he's always like,
Yes.
you
Why
fucking
you gotta
bastard.
hate oats?
Well, they have this animosity.
He's
the two of
jealous
them,
of his
but,
mustache.
But he's jealous of the mustache and the fact that he doesn't have Lyme disease. But like he moved out to Daryl Hall moved out in the country, where there's deers and deer ticks, and his entire family got Lyme disease, and now he wants every deer wiped off the planet Earth. He really does. He's so anti-deer now.
Yes.
He is like
For
and
him
you would think
huge.
you would think though he's like the sweetest guy. You would think that he's the most gentlest man. But when it comes, if you went to a Hall & Oates concert with a deer, like you had a stuffed deer, he would really rip it apart Ozzy Osbourne style
Yeah.
on stage, and just tear it to shreds. And
Could you write the letter
like, you know,
Dear Daryl?
yeah,
and
dear.
flip
But
out
I'm just
on it?
wondering if you brought in like a whole box of like, you remember that old urban legend about Ozzy Osbourne that was never true? Like, because they said it about Ozzy, they said it about Alice Cooper, but it was like there was this urban legend that there was an Alice Cooper and also, and then they said it about Ozzy years later, that there was a concert that somebody had puppies out front. And Ozzy Osbourne, Alice Cooper, and I think maybe Marilyn Manson has been now put into this whole thing. I refuse to do the show until every one of those puppies is dead. So a crazed fan went and killed every puppy in that free, because when you go to a concert, there's always somebody like out
free
front with a
puppies.
box of free puppies.
Yes.
Because
Or
why
kittens.
not?
Every-
Yeah, why not?
Sometimes
Why
it's
not
kittens.
have a? But you know what I'm talking about. Everybody's heard this story.
Yeah.
It's the same
Oh, yeah.
story that you hear about Rod Stewart having all the
Oh,
semen in
yeah.
his stomach that was also. Like
Elton John,
no,
you're-
Elton John, you believe it, but it was always like no, but you know what I mean. It's always
I mean,
been
Ozzy has been honest
but-
about the
the
double.
bad incident. He actually, there was a bat that was in a rafter and it did fall. He thought it was a rubber bat. He
Right.
did it. That really did happen.
Well, no, there was the other one too in front of the record executives where he brought in a dove and he ate. There's pictures
Oh,
of
yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
that.
There's that
But
one
that
too.
was a publicity stunt. But it
Yeah.
was just. But this thing about the
Freaked
puppies.
everybody out.
But I
Yeah.
mean, they talked. But it started with like, and again, it was a rumor
maybe,
that started
maybe
with.
that's what this is. Maybe the final shift is a publicity,
It's a publicity stunt.
and they're actually going to show the real movie.
The real
later.
movie's gonna happen. But that was like, the whole puppy thing. So I'm wondering if we just actually do this in real life. Let's go get some baby deers, bring them to the next Hall & Oates show, like just see what happens.
Yeah.
And Daryl
Let's
will
just-
say, "I won't play
That's
any
why I'm
songs
wondering.
until
I
all
want to
those
see if we
deer
can
are
make
dead."
this urban legend
Yeah,
happen.
flashback type moment.
I'm just wondering if we could just go, like today when we were playing airsoft, we actually ran into 2 baby deer that were actually out because we did it in this big tree farm, and it was like we ran into 2 baby deer. Like if we could just get a couple little fawns, a couple little deer, the next time Hall & Oates, if they come here to Verizon, or even if they go to like the Garden, or if they play Meadowbrook, wherever they're gonna play, I want to get a couple baby deer, and I just want to put them out front with a sign, saying deer for sale or whatever, just like deer for Hall & Oates or whatever, and I want word to get back to Daryl Hall, and I want to see if he'll come out on stage and refuse to play until those 2 deer are dead. That's what I want. That's what I want to see
Yes,
happen
those
because
2
I want to
deer.
bring that rumor true.
Yeah.
I want to put it. I want it to happen because I want to be the guy that's known to have a box of deer.
A box of baby deer.
A box of baby deer, and I love Hall & Oates. I mean, Matt will know that I love.
Then why would
Oh,
you
me
do
too.
that?
I love Hall & Oates.
Yes.
And the off
But
chance that they
I
would stop
just-
playing their
I
music. Dan Randall.
No, but I just want
How
to do that.
dare you? How dare you?
I am that big of a fan. I want to do that. I want to do that just to see it happen. I just want to see that rumor come true. I really want to see somebody get on stage and say, "I will not. I refuse to. We refuse to play. Oates and I refuse to play tonight. Oates will do all our songs by himself. This will be the John Oates show tonight. I refuse to play until those 2 baby deer are dead carcasses on this stage."
Yeah.
I want to see
I
that.
just need to see the look of.
Could
Why is
you
there
just-
deer?
Could you just imagine?
Going on?
like,
Why
the
is
whole-
there a deer
yeah.
in the audience?
You're not hearing Sarah smile
Yeah,
until
yeah.
those deer are dead.
Literally deer in headlights look.
Yes. We're not doing Private Eyes until those 2 deer are on this stage, bloody dead. I want to see their dead bodies now.
I have the Kill Bill image, like every time that she ran into one of her nemesis and it's flashing red with the music. That's Daryl Hall
see
with the
that-
deer, like.
Those 2 big deer, those little fawns right there, are the reason my kids have that syndrome. I can see that happening. I can see him just preaching the whole audience. The whole audience is just going to be pissed.
Does
Yeah.
not show Bambi at home. It's enough.
He
Probably
probably
not.
has ruined just anything. But it's
Yeah.
just if you've ever heard him rant, though he does. He's been on Stern Show. He's been on some other shows. He just has this. You just mentioned deer, and he goes on these tirades about deer and how we need to go and clean the population, just kill them all.
Just wipe out all the deer.
They're filthy beasts, and it's like really wow. And it's like, but I'm waiting for that tour though. Ted Nugent, Hall & Oates. Wouldn't that
Yep.
that would be
It'd
the
just
ultimate
Nugent
tour.
Hall.
Nugent
Hall
Hall.
and Nuge.
Hall and the Nuge. There you go. Maybe they should do a show
Oates will
together.
be invited.
They should do a show together on the Outdoor Network. That's what that should be. Hunting with Hall and the Nuge. You know? They just go up there and just killing deer on Hall's property. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
yes.
He hires the Nuge to go kill everything on their property. But I did. I was out shooting little airsoft pellets at a bunch of little children today. It was really fun. It was great. Little children and adults.
Little children.
Little kids and
Did you
adults.
play that one game that Sam came up with?
No, that
Okay.
Sam came up with a great idea, and Sam was even trying to play it again today. And we were sitting there at the picnic table on Memorial Day last weekend, and Sam had said to me and everybody at the table, because they had gotten into this airsoft, and he's convincing me, you got to get into this airsoft. And he came up with a game called Run Boy Run, and he decided that this game would be a fun game. Somebody basically has to wear blackface, and we give that person that wears blackface a pitchfork. We give him a 10-minute start, and the rest of the airsoft participants just go and chase that person. They also call it Dating the Mass's Daughter. They also call it, he was giving it all these different names.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there, and I was, I was like going, yep, he's related. Yeah, we know he's my nephew by this. And he's going on. Now, he's sitting there in front of his father, the minister. And
Yes.
the father of the minister is laughing at this whole thing.
Oh, really? He didn't say like just a cotton picking minute?
Yes,
No.
no, he didn't say that. He was like agreeing with him, going, that does sound like a fun thing. And I even offered. I said, you know what? I'll be the boy. I will put the blackface on the pitchfork because that sounds like fun. They'll give me a good workout. I'll run. But then I'm thinking, I'll probably want to put the outfit on before I head up north.
Oh, that's smart.
Because you don't want to So I figured, all right, if I put the blackface on, have the pitchfork.
You don't want to, go with the stereotype and show up late.
No, I don't.
Right.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to do that. So I figured if I was going to do that this morning, then I was thinking, with my luck, I'd get pulled over here in Manchester, and we do have some black officers. How do I explain that? Really?
Yeah.
Because I would have been in character, and I would have been like, well, I don't know, was I be speeding? I'd be talking that way because I knew I'd be in the makeup.
You just get out of the car and
be
sing
in
and dance
character.
a little bit.
If I just did a little tap,
Hello.
if I did a little soft toe,
Help you.
if I just happen to get just my luck, I would just happen to get
the one black officer.
Officer White, who happens to be black, and I mean, I would just get, like that, I would just happen to get that, and I know he would be like, excuse me, looking at my license, looking at me, looking at my, Mr. Ramlett, can I ask you where you're going today? And if I try to explain to him, oh, I'm going to play Dating the Mass's Daughter, I'm going to play Run Boy Run, but first I got to go to the church. But if you don't let me go, we'll be a little late. Yeah, I just, I figured that would be a bad idea. So we didn't play that game. But I realized it's shooting a bunch of people with little tiny pellets, and you don't really get hurt. I mean, I got shot here I have a little welt right here in the temple because they were shooting me when I was dead. I was dead, and some idiot kept on shooting me, and I'm like, I'm fucking dead. Stop shooting me, I'm dead.
That's pretty much how I envision you going.
Yeah. Being shot in the temple.
Yeah, and then being shot several times after.
Yeah, but I mean, it actually relieves a lot of stress. It really does. It relieves a lot of stress.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere. I thought you were going to talk about your newfound racial sensitivity or something. I thought you were going somewhere.
No, hunting black people with airsoft rifles.
I thought you were going to say, I realized finally.
I realized finally that I shouldn't be racist.
Yes.
I realized that I would never be racist ever again. I am not a racist. Everybody knows I am not a racist. I don't, I realized that I am not a racist.
Everyone puts on blackface. It doesn't mean you're a racist.
No, it doesn't mean I'm a racist. Hey, it just, if we were able to do that, and, we would have been able to do that if we didn't have an African-American president. If we had a white president in the White House, I could put on blackface. Come on, and it wouldn't be considered racist. Come on.
Yep.
It's just now we're all oversensitive because we have an African-American, president in the White House. So that's, if we still, if W was in the White House, I could have gotten away with wearing a blackface.
Of course.
Actually, I think that was one of his parties.
And if
If
we
it
had
was
elected
at the
Rick
White
Perry,
House.
you certainly could have gotten away with it.
If it was good enough for Ted Danson,
That's true, and there was no.
And he was dating Whoopi at the time too.
And there were no negative repercussions for that whatsoever.
Not at all.
No, not at all. No. Well, didn't Whoopi have to come out that she was actually white? Isn't that what happened with that whole incident? Didn't she have to finally admit that she was 90% Jewish and only 10%
bitch,
black?
if my last name is Goldberg.
Yep. So that.
Goldberg.
But no, I just I'm condoning the use of weaponry on young children. That's what I'm trying to say. I think just shooting a bunch of little kids with some little pellets And I realized too that the guns I had like looked like real guns, and the little plastic tip that's on the end of them that showed
I
that
love
they're
the
a toy
plastic
gun.
tip. Oh, sorry.
That fell off, so even worse. So even if I did get pulled over in blackface with guns and a pitchfork, that would even be better.
Yes.
So, and I was wearing, and I had the
I'd love to
hoodie,
see the explanation.
and I have the hoodie with me, and I had some Skittles too, so I was kind of worried too that
Yes.
I was wearing a hoodie, blackface, I had Skittles, and I had a toy gun.
Well, but you weren't
So-
walking at night.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
And it,
In a Latino.
I mean, I don't know.
Watchman.
If it was a Latino cop, I would have been shot on sight.
Right.
So, I mean, that would have been no questions asked. He wouldn't even have looked at me and said, oh, that's a white guy in blackface. He would have said, oh, look, a black kid with Skittles and a hoodie,
Yeah.
driving a
Gotta take him out.
Suzuki. He must have stole that Suzuki, because black kids don't drive Suzuki. So that's,
Right.
so. But to be political for a second, did anybody see the bill, the abortion bill that the House passed about not race, but about gender that got passed?
Yeah, you
Did see
can't
that?
abort your kid just because you don't like the gender.
No, I thought they passed it saying you can abort your kid.
I thought it was written that you cannot.
I thought the bill passed saying you can. I thought it's not against the law to abort based on gender. I thought it was.
Was that Glenjamin?
You cannot do what?
You cannot abort.
Then why are they making a big stink on Fox about it then? Because Fox is making a big deal about it, saying that
They probably didn't see the apostrophe T.
because Fox was making a big deal, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but Fox was making a big deal that they're saying that the bill was, and again, I've had a busy weekend, but they were saying something about it was
I think your
condoning.
first problem is you're watching Fox.
Well, no,
News.
it was on, and they were saying that it's condoning gender-based abortion. The bill that passed,
That's what they want their viewers to believe.
and they were
Sure.
making a big stink that nobody else was showing it, and that's why I was asking if anybody saw this, because I didn't see it. That's why I'm asking about it.
I've heard about it. I've heard about it.
So
from
it is-
a
so
lot
it
of
is
the news
saying
sources,
that it
but
is
no,
not.
It is not. You cannot abort based on the sex.
Because I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Because I heard
Something
something
like
in
that
passing.
killed Richard Dawson.
Is that what killed Dick Dawson?
That's what killed him.
That's what killed Dick
I
Dawson.
was wondering if we were ever going to transition into that
Poor
conversation.
Dick Dawson.
Richard Dawson, Family Feud,
He finally kicked the bucket.
died today.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody posted it.
He's
and
the-
said,
is he the
survey
last-
says sad.
Is he the last surviving member of Hogan's Heroes? Or is Werner Klemperer still alive somewhere?
I don't know.
He's
be
dead,
honest.
isn't he?
Is he? I thought he was still kicking around. I thought Colonel Klink was still alive.
I remember watching reruns of Hogan's Heroes when I was a kid and just being fascinated by why Richard Dawson had a British accent in the series, but not on Family Feud.
He was actually born in Britain. I've always thought that the same thing too.
Yes.
Actually,
Like, did you think he was playing a Brit, or did you always think he was just?
No, my mother told me that. My mother explained it to me that he was British.
He was British, but he just
He
got
just
Americanized.
lost the accent.
Werner Klemperer died in
2000?
2000. Yeah.
So maybe Dick Dawson was the last
You just like
surviving
saying Dick
member.
Dawson.
Dick,
Do
I
you
love
know
Dick
him
Dawson.
personally?
Dick Dawson.
Do you too?
How
I
old
just
was
love
he?
the
He must have been
Dick.
really old, right?
Richard Dawson. He was only 76.
Really? I thought he was older than that.
76
Wow.
or 79.
Really?
Esophageal cancer.
Huh.
He was a smoker too.
Yeah.
And also
A smoker and a kisser.
He was a drinker too, wasn't he?
And he said in an interview the reason that he did the kissing, the reason that started, was there was a woman who was very nervous on Family Feud, and his mom used to kiss him on the forehead
Oh,
to
okay.
To make
yeah. Schultz, what about John Banner?
Oh, he died.
I know
I think
nothing.
he died years.
1973.
Yeah, he died like
Oh.
right after the show.
Oh,
Was he in
really?
that? Was he in one of those dirty movies with?
Yeah, I think
with
he
Bob
got
Crane?
strangled by a prostitute with Bob
Yeah.
Crane. That's what happened. I think that was
What do you think? What's his name there?
who?
The one who played Bob Crane in the film.
Oh,
Greg
was it-
Kinnear? Was it Kinnear?
It was Kinnear, yeah.
What'd you think of him as Bob Crane? Did you ever see the film?
I like the movie.
Died in '78.
He was shot, right, Bob Crane? Didn't
Yes,
someone
he got.
kill him?
It's still considered an unsolved murder because they never. Supposedly, his friend John Carpenter, like he died before they even came out determining whether or not it was true.
It's not the director John Carpenter, right?
No,
It's
no,
the-
it was just this
okay.
other guy that was John Carpenter.
Not that one. The other one.
No, the other one.
Like the guy John.
All right,
Goodman
okay, this is what I was hearing now. Okay, so Planned Parenthood was promoting the gender-based abortions. That
Oh.
was what the thing was, not that the bill was saying it.
Well,
I
yeah.
guess there was footage that some idiot in Planned Parenthood was was saying to the person, "Oh, if you want a boy, you can abort your girl," and they fired the woman from Planned Parenthood or something. That they
who
caught
knows?
somebody. Yeah, somebody caught somebody on tape, and they released the tape, and
Well.
the big stink was about the because that can happen in any.
Well, the thing is,
organization.
everybody at Fox and all conservative media portrays Planned Parenthood as basically being this abortion mill where they just basically grab pregnant women off the street and drag them in and
Rip
force
them
them to
out.
have an abortion. You know, then that's all they do.
Well, they've even said. I mean, Planned Parenthood even says that the money that they get doesn't really go towards abortion. A lot of it goes towards like education.
Yeah, they do.
towards birth
Right,
control
right.
and all that.
But conservatives paint
Yeah.
it as an abortion mill. You know,
Yeah.
like a one-stop. You know,
Yeah.
come on in. We'll,
Like a
Because they
factory.
signed. Well,
Kill
they
your
well, didn't they just
Two come in, one come out.
didn't they just sign a bill where they're giving them like 500 million or something like that? Isn't that something that's going to them right now? Or 400 million? Like there's something. There's like something just got signed where Planned Parenthood's getting a big chunk of money, and the big stink that I know Hannity was making a big stink
Oh, of
about it
course.
because
Yeah.
Hannity feels that we're in debt as it is. Why are we giving Planned Parenthood money? Because we need to pay our own bills and not give. Because his big stink with Planned Parenthood is because he's still on the whole thing about we shouldn't be paying for everybody's birth control and we shouldn't be paying for everybody's abortions. And he was having a fight with one of the Planned Parenthood people, and they're saying we don't use that money for
Right.
abortions. We're
Right.
using it for birth control. You're right. We use it for birth control. We use it for education, so you won't have abortions.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, and we should be paying for everyone's birth control, quite frankly, because then you'd have less abortions.
That's what the guy.
There's
That's what the guy
education
from
about
Planned.
sex
Yeah.
right up front. Then.
And
Well, that's
I-
what the guy from Planned Parenthood was using it
Yeah.
as his thing.
Yeah.
He was like, he was like, as a conservative. Now, I'm pro-life as myself personally, but I don't believe anybody has a right to tell a woman what she can or cannot do.
Right.
I personally am pro-life.
Right.
I deem it as murder. I do. That's my personal belief. But again, I can't. Me as a person,
You can't legislate.
I can't tell somebody,
Right.
you know, you have like I'm not going to accuse anybody of being a murderer. That's your own conscience.
Yeah.
And it's just like if I were to take a gun right now and shoot somebody, I may not think of that as murder in my conscience. If I'm that type of person. To me, any type of abortion, to me, is murder. That's my belief. I stand behind that. But again, I don't believe that I have a right, or anybody else has a right, to tell anybody. Because again, it's your own belief, it's your own conscience, it's however you feel.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also not one of these people that I go around and I picket a clinic and go, you're a murderess, you're a murderess, you're a
Right.
murderer. Because again, it's, you know, if you want to make that choice, it's your choice. There are women I know that have had abortions that regret the fact they've had abortions. They feel like they were murderers. They feel that they have that after effect because they gain a conscience. You know what I mean? And I've seen that happen with people. And there are other people that are like, no big deal. The big thing that gets me upset, and I think with your point, which I agree with, are the people that use abortion as birth control.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what's disgusting.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's like, well, I'm in here for my third abortion because I can't control myself
You get the
because I
fourth
have
one
to
free.
go. Yeah, you know, you get a little punch card. Oh, it's true though. And there are, and there's, and it's
That's
more,
good marketing.
and it's
Yeah.
more in the urban markets though, where maybe they can't afford birth control, or maybe they're not educated enough, or maybe they just don't give a shit.
Right.
And they go out and they just like, oh, I don't care, you know, I'll just go get another abortion. And that's
Right.
the people that disgust me.
Yeah.
Because it's like they don't have any care in the world. Because they just decide they can do that. They go, oh, y'all just go do that, and I really don't give a shit. And
Right.
it's just, and that's the people that really bother me because
Right.
they even have that mentality. But I'm not going to go and preach to them. I'm not going to go sit there
Right.
and be like, you know, oh, you're a murderer, I'm going to throw fetuses at them. You know what I mean? Like those,
Right.
that, you know, and you know, when you go to places and they give you the little babies and the little fetuses, and you try to be like, look what you're killing. I'm not going to do that to them.
Although, have you ever thought about showing up at a concert with a box of
Box of fetuses? Like fake fetuses?
still viable fetuses?
Ooh.
And you
How
know,
would if I go to a Hall & Oates show with a box of like fetuses?
Right.
What would you
With
do?
antlers.
With baby fetus.
Because, well, I'll tell you
fetuses.
what. Because Oates, I heard an interview with
Oates?
Oates once, and he was ranting. He's not just pro-choice.
Yeah.
He's full-on pro-abortion.
Oh, he's pro-abortion.
So you might get
Wow.
Oates to
Well, I
say,
heard he's late term.
yes,
he's
late-term
late-term
pro-abortion. So you might get Oates to say, you know, we're not going to play.
Yeah.
We're not going to do possession obsession.
Like,
I'm not
oh,
singing that
well,
one.
wait a minute.
I'm not singing that
Well,
one.
wait a
until
minute
all
though.
those
Maybe
fetuses
they
are
won't do
dead.
adult education. That might be a different song, but you
Yeah.
know that might be the
All
All
same.
right,
Good
all right,
point.
all right, all right. Geeks, stop.
What? Because we're Hall & Oates fans? Just
Stop
because you
holding
like
out
the
on me.
Wilson Phillips over there that you can name. Hold on, and I can't think of any other
Hold
Wilson
it.
Phillips songs.
Yeah, I can't either.
There was
Yeah, you can't even.
Yeah.
You can't think of it.
Wow,
either.
I can't either. That's like the big one. I mean, they had other hits.
Oh,
Certainly,
and speaking of birth control, we've got some birthdays.
Get some birthdays. Speaking of birth control, here's people that
always-
should never have been born.
I'm always looking for a segment. Yeah, here's some people that should never have been born. Ryan Gorman.
Let's say happy birthday to Ryan
June
Gorman.
Is it his
5th.
birthday? Oh.
June 5th on Tuesday is going to be his birthday.
Happy birthday, Ryan Gorman, or Ryan Michael, as I believe.
Ryan Michael.
He likes to be known now.
Coming up this month, we also Joel the Moose Elber has a birthday on June
What's he, about
19th.
76 now? Joel.
And Peter White, I can't remember when your birthday is, but
But
I
happy
always wish
birthday
you a
to
happy
Yes.
birthday. To
Happy
Peter White.
birthday,
They
Peter White.
logged out a long time ago. The Celtics.
No.
They were there 3 minutes. I think
Yeah.
that's the
I
longest we had them.
Yeah,
in
they
there.
lasted through it.
It's a
Now,
new record.
here's the people that I do support abortion on. I'm gonna make a stance that's gonna make people crazy now.
Mhm.
The women that allow their children to be on toddlers and tiaras. I'm telling you right now, those women,
Yeah,
like those women,
those pageants are creepy.
and
That
we
is
were,
one of Verbal Ejaculation's favorite shows.
they are. Well, we were talking about this, and I talk about this with my girlfriend. I've become obsessed with this show because she's been DVRing this show.
Yeah.
And dance moms too, but toddlers and tiaras, these women are the most horrible women in the world that don't deserve to have children.
Right.
Like these are women. I'm pro-choice. These are women that I want to. I want to adopt their kids. Just
Yeah.
to,
They're pro-life.
like I'm pro. Yeah, did I just say I'm pro-choice?
Yes,
wow,
you
I
did.
just made an announcement on the air. Oh my god, no.
You're coming out, buddy.
I'm coming out. Well, I'm pro. No,
I'm
actually,
all
I am
right.
pro. I'm pro-life personally, but I'm pro-choice.
You are
yeah, I'm
pro-choice,
pro-choice.
yeah.
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 I'm
mean,
pro-choice, but
Yeah.
for the same reasons that you're pro-life is
Mhm.
the reasons that I'm pro-life as well.
Well, wait a minute.
Oh,
You're-
wow, yeah.
hey.
I'm full on pro-abortion. The only good fetus is a dead fetus.
Wow, there you go.
It's true.
I'm taking a stand.
But-
Kill out the entire
Kill 'em all.
population.
You just don't want babies. You just hate babies. That's what it is. You
I
hate
hate
babies.
gays too.
You don't want gay babies.
I don't
That's
want
what you
gay
don't
babies.
want.
Yeah.
Well,
'Cause
see,
then they
I-
reproduce and make
I'm
more gay
pro-choice if we know they're going to be gay. That's my thing. If you know the baby's going to be gay, if you can judge if a baby's going to be gay, then go ahead. It's kind of like if you listen to the Nixon tapes where Nixon talks about them. Like if you ever hear those tapes where he
There's
talks
actually-
about
there
abortion.
is a film, I think it's called Twilight of the Golds, where it's a gay man. He's a art director in New York, and he's openly gay. And his sister is pregnant, and they do a genetics test and find out that the baby is going to be gay, and she aborts it. It's a feel-good
Really?
movie. It's a
Feel-good movie.
feel-good movie. Let me
Feel-good
tell
movie.
you.
Take the whole family.
Yeah.
Take the whole family. I wonder if it's better than Final Shift.
Yeah.
I wonder if it is.
I'm gonna
Probably is.
guess.
It
and
has,
say that
I've
it's
read,
probably
I've read
is.
the script because it was a play first and then the movie.
Yeah.
The script it's phenomenal.
What kind of
It's very
special
deep.
effects are there during the abortion scene?
I think because he works in art, there's something like there's opera playing in the background,
Mhm.
and then
Really?
a man in a cape comes and rips the baby out
Wow.
and
Awesome.
slashes it.
Ooh. Wow.
I want to see that in 3D.
That would be good in 3D.
Wow, I went dark.
You went really dark on that one.
Is there a boom mic in the scene?
There might have been a
Slashing?
boom mic. They might
I
have
think
to have
there's a
boom-
boom mic in her vagina
Oh, that's
Excellent.
as the baby is
That's
coming forth.
Yes.
That is right. But getting back to the toddlers and tiaras, because we've
And
got a
he
little
throws
dark.
the
We
baby
got-
at
we
the
got a little
camera
dark.
in 3D.
What? In slow motion.
But that's just
Here comes the
that's
fetus.
horrible. That's horrible. That little bit of Christianity in me is cringing. But
It's like a peanut.
That's horrible.
Thus
That's
proving it's not a
That's
person
horrible.
at that point.
Chrissy can't even stand anymore. He has to go.
It's not a
away.
person at
It's
that
a-
point. It's a peanut, so it's
a
okay.
peanut, It's a peanut. But
It's
that's
just a
that's really
peanut.
late term. But that's late. But no, the thing that's did he just disconnect us?
I just pulled his
His
Oh.
conscience,
Did you disconnect the whole camera? Are we off the air?
his conscience kicked in subconsciously.
I pulled his leg.
We're black for a second. What happened? We went black.
You were.
We
black
went
earlier.
urban for a second. What happened?
That mask you were wearing.
Is that what it was? We went urban. We were urbanized.
We went black, but apparently we're back.
We're back.
Oh.
Once you go black, you can't go back. I heard. But
Once
well,
you go
maybe you
black,
can.
you can't get credit.
No, but I was talking about toddler and tiaras for
Yes.
a second, and like, and I made the comment to you, and I've noticed, and my girlfriend made the comment the other night. There's a lot of pedophiles, not only in the audience, but the announcers.
Yeah.
Like you'll sit there and you'll see like, and I don't know if you've watched the show, Matt, at all.
I haven't
It's-
You've
seen
got
it,
to talk
but-
about. I've actually
But
got.
yeah, go
pee.
take your abortion break. Go get an abortion, will you?
I'll be back.
Go have an abortion, Mr. Pro-choice. Go ahead. But you got these, like, we're watching one of these episodes, and I'm watching it because these women are atrociously bad, and like they have like 0 to 2 are the ages of some of these pageants. Like, oh, we're bringing up the 0 to 2, and you'll get this like creepy announcer, and you know, for the record, a lot of them look and sound like Glenn. I didn't say that out loud, people.
Yes, well,
And I'm not saying anything about Glenn, by the way.
right.
But the you know, but you'll get people that are sitting there, and they'll be like, "Oh, we have these lovely ladies coming up now. We have the 0 to 2 range, and aren't they just beautiful young ladies?" And you got like that really disturbing voice, and it's like, "Oh, doesn't she look like a precious little princess in that princess outfit?" And it's
That
like,
is
really? It's like really. You have to just watch one episode just to see one of these announcers at these pageants, and it's like, and the guys look creepy. They got these like tuxedos that barely fit them. Like, you know, they're almost too small, and they're like, oh, here comes, and they have these white trash names, every one of these girls. Here comes Destiny, 2-year-old Destiny. And the woman is like a big fat woman that lives in a trailer, and she's white, she's not black, and they got the, you know, the white baby's named Destiny. It's like, you know, here comes 2-year-old Destiny. She likes Skittles. She wants to grow up someday. It's like, you know, it's like, yeah, because what does a 2-year-old want to do besides play?
Right.
And it's like, doesn't she look good in her disco outfit? Oh, I know, I want to go dancing with her. Like, you'll hear these really creepy things.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, let's hear it for Destiny. And it's like, oh my god, this is like the creepiest. Like, and then like Chris was pointing out, like you'll see, and then you look at the audience, and you always have that one or two guys in the audience that are kind of like, oh, Destiny. Oh, and he's by himself. He's not one of the parents.
Yeah,
you know, he's
that
always,
one guy
he's
who's
always
not
that one.
with anybody.
Yeah, he's just, and he's got like that really tight-fitting sweater and T-shirt.
Yep.
He's kind of just staring like, oh, Destiny. I do want to go dancing with Destiny. Yeah, you kind of got, you know, like I do
I
want
want
to
to
go.
end up with her in the
I
front
want to.
of my car.
Yeah. Whoa. She's about the same size as the trophy. I don't know. And it's like, I want to take her back to New Hampshire. But, you know, you kind of like, you see that. Like, you see that person in the audience.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's the, and the women are atrocious because the women are screaming at their, like, 1-year-old child. You're not doing the pirouette. You're not turning. You little bitch. You're a cunt. You're a bitch. You're a slut. Turn.
Yeah.
Turn. And they have these girls, they're like strippers. They're wearing, like, these, like, peel away. Like, one girl was dressing up as like Lady Gaga, and she came out with like this really revealing outfit that tore away a skirt, and she's like banging on the piano, and she was like 2, and it was like, are you kidding me? And then this one girl was like this one woman, one of the moms, she's like a Hooters girl, and she was like a ring announcer, and she's taking like, she's doing like a bikini calendar in front of her 2-year-old daughter, and she's like, well, I don't think of my daughter as being 2. She's like my 17-year-old best friend. And it's like, are you kidding me? And she's trying to teach her daughter how to wear like these leopard print, like, you know, G-strings and stuff of these. And no wonder you got these creepy guys like sitting there going, oh, you know, here's Mercedes.
I'll pay you $20
coming up.
to touch me.
Like, oh, you know, it's like, you know, hello Mercedes. You know, here she is in her. She looks a lot like Lady Gaga. Oh, I want a Gaga on her. Oh, I see she's got a pacifier. I can think of things to do with that. Oh. I want to pacify her, if you know what I mean. After the show. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's hear it for her and her Gaga. I want to gag her. I mean, no, Gaga. No, not gag. Oh. Oh, is that Lady Gaga?
It's the movement in the chair as well as the voice.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
yes.
oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Just-
oh. Hello, New Hampshire. Oh, my pretties, my ring, my precious.
I got your ring.
Oh, where is it? It's like they're all Gollum. Oh, where's my Destiny?
Precious.
Destiny, where are you? You know, it's so creepy. It's like the creepiest thing, and all these women are like, you don't, like, apart from the stripper mom, like none of them were never in pageants. You know, they're living through the fantasy.
Right,
But
right.
why
They
fucking
vicariously
start
live
them and like, why not have them as, you know what? Because I'm personally pro-life, I think, you know, when I have a daughter, I'm going to start the pageant in the fetus. Why not? Why not just start it in the fetus? Might as well start him young. Like, find a way to get up there.
Get the crown.
Put
on
the,
there.
you know,
Yeah.
just get
Little
up there.
peanut
Put
head.
little dress, little stripper outfits while you're
You
up
want
there.
to be proactive.
You know?
It's
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
to sexualize children as
Yeah.
early as possible.
Why not?
Yes.
Why not make the child as sexual as possible?
Yes.
So when she comes out, when she's 1, she's already got like she's already got a boob job.
Mhm.
You know,
And
give
a
her
tramp
implants.
stamp.
Yeah, a tramp
Yeah.
stamp and a boob
Yeah.
job. So she's already dancing on a pole. So you know, and I'm gonna name her something like Destiny. I need a good stripper name. You know, I need a really
Desire.
good
Desiree.
Desiree. I need a
Desiree.
good like white trash stripper trailer name. You know, like so she's definitely gonna be working the pole, working some guy's pole in the the back
Yeah.
of the park. You know, when she's a little
When she has
older.
no teeth.
When
and
she's
17 years
19,
old.
no, when she's 19 and she's like, Mr. Olet, you want the regular? You know,
I need to pay for my meth addiction.
when she's when she's
my
get-
daddy didn't love me.
yeah, when she's getting the methadone
My
and
daddy
she's
loved
you
me
know
too much.
she's over at Veterans Park and she's getting the methadone. She goes over to Veterans Park and she's RJ. You want the regular today? Like that thing. You know,
Oh my.
Wow.
you want the QCE special?
Oh my.
Wow.
Wow.
No. Actually, no.
You want the 6 a.m. wake up call? Wink, wink.
6 a.m. wake up call.
On Saturday, you want me to give you the 6 a.m. wake up call? Yes, Desiree, yes! Did I cross the line? I'm sorry.
Okay, on that note,
By all means, Mercedes Benz. Go ahead and do that. And they all have the T-Rex arms, too. Have you ever noticed that either? It's like, let me get my cane. Come get me. Come hither. Will you take my press pass? I don't have credit cards. I have press passes. Well, you know the judges do. They have to be at the. They have to have some credentials. They're not going to let some guy off the street. They have, they have they got that like Toddlers and Tiaras press pass. Like, oh, I'm a judge.
Yes, yes.
That's the opinions of Dan Randall. I do not express them. Wow. All right, I think. Are we gonna wrap that
Are
up?
you
on that
sure?
note? I think I'd like to wrap that.
My precious, you sure?
Jesus. I like to look at Miss New Hampshire.
Oh, Miss New Hampshire, she was at our walk. She's supposed to be on our show.
Okay, well,
You guys have the same laptop?
We have a similar
Toshiba.
one. Yeah, we have a similar
Just I think it's different models.
Mine's an L755.
Mine's an A666.
666? What?
What the hell?
I don't know why. I
got
just
the
never
devil's
noticed that
laptop.
before.
His has got a little bit souped up, I think, sound on it. Your sound's a little
I think
more
that's the
souped
only.
up. I think mine has a little bit better video, yours has better sound. I think that's the big difference. 'Cause
I
you have
found my old,
he has the
uh,
Harman
Excuse me.
Kardon sound package.
I found my old compact
The
laptop.
man in the chat room says,
yesterday.
"Thank God he never watched Toddlers and Tears." Yes. Now
No, but
know
you
the
have
whole
to
plot.
see it. Matt, watch Todd. Somebody
One of
has
those
to
things you
watch
have to
one.
watch.
And next week we'll talk about Dance Moms because Dance Moms is just as bad. It's like it's so horrible, but you don't you don't have the creepy those
Yeah.
people in it. But I mean, I don't know why these women exist.
See,
they really.
and the reason I don't find a lot of humor is because, well, I mean,
Was your mom a dance mom?
Yeah,
Was
she
she?
Uh,
Christopher, you
the-
need
the
to dance
reason-
more.
The reason I don't watch those shows and why it makes me so angry is because when I worked at the hotel for 2 years, we had that. We had the dance moms. We had all the
Yeah.
little Miss pageants, and they would just piss me off because they were little fucking bitches
Yeah.
walking around like,
Little
oh, I
divas.
own this place. I'm like, you cunt, you're 5 years old.
Christopher, do they still do the pageants over there next door? Next
Yes, they
Friday,
do.
they have one?
Will they take this Christmas? Will they
Can
let
we-
me in because
can
I
we-
have this?
Can you bring your camcorder next time?
I'm gonna bring the secret
Can
one
we,
too. Oh.
can we do some exclusive footage? Can we do maybe a verbal ejaculation over there? And I'll verbally ejaculate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I'll show them my 6 o'clock wake up special.
And the sad part is, put the three of us into one of those pageants, like in the audience.
Yeah.
Matt and I get escorted out, but you're the one who gets to stay.
Well, they're gonna look at me like, well, there's the
Security will
harmless
look
guy.
at the two of us,
Yeah.
like put us in separate places so we're not
Yes.
sitting together. They'll grab Matt and I.
Of course,
and
they'll look
you'll
at
be
me. They
allowed
look
to
at me,
stay.
and they'll be,
Yeah.
the moms will come over to me, put their hands on the shoulder. What a nice, sweet guy you are. And I'll be like,
Yeah.
yes.
I wait. Okay.
Like the guy with the cane, get him out immediately.
All right.
The guy with the cane with the ill-fitting tuxedo, get him out.
Yeah.
Because he's already unbuttoned three buttons. He's looking like Dick Dawson. Remember when he did that on the
Yeah.
film?
He'd have like the ruffles too. Didn't
Yeah,
he?
the rough. But
Oh,
I'm saying
yeah.
though, you get like later on in the show because we were talking about Dick Dawson. It was like he'd have like the tie kind of, when he got later on in the show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the time that they got
He'd
to
be
the
like,
final
yeah,
one,
the
he'd be
final thing.
down in here.
He'd be all like, so we got the
That's 'cause
5
he was half
questions.
the bag. He was half
Like,
the bag at that point.
he's already
it was
like,
so hot.
he's all
Why
like,
it was so hot.
Survey says.
Survey says drunk. You are right.
Does that show still exist in some form?
Yeah, the guy
Well,
from.
Steve Harvey was the last host.
Yeah, but I thought
Really?
wasn't the guy from Home Improvement doing it for
he
a
was.
while?
He was. He did
Oh,
for about
right.
4 seasons.
And then the guy that was Peterman on
Yeah, he did
Seinfeld
after.
was doing it for a
Oh,
while.
okay.
But I think it's still on somewhere. It's on like Game Show Network or one of the shows is still doing
They
it. in
still
some
show the
form.
old ones,
But I
I think
thought it's
Channel
still-
7 still shows the Steve Harvey version because he was the most recent host.
I used to
But
love the
He's
celebrity
getting his own
ones.
talk show, a daytime talk show, coming up in September.
So I loved when they'd have like the old TV shows against each other. Like you'd have Gilligan's Island versus Love Boat. It was like that because
Yeah,
that was
oh, yeah.
always like you'd
Yeah.
always get all thrilled. You're
But
like,
they'd have
ooh.
soap actors and they do all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
You'd have like Gunsmoke versus Batman. It was like, oh, this is gonna be
Yeah.
exciting. It's like
Yeah.
I used to love those.
Yeah.
The regular ones you'd always like, and then if you'd watch the regular ones, there was always that like idiot sister or uncle that the family would always look at when they came up with like the stupidest
Yeah.
answers, and the family would be like, "Why the fuck did we choose you? We have the PhD at home, or we had somebody we could have brought.
Why didn't we abort you?
Yeah, we were like, why do we have? Okay, why did we bring Uncle Glenn? Why did we bring him to the show? It's it's one
I'm
of
gonna
those.
go with motorcycle,
why is
Richard, and
why
we're looking
is
for things you find in the bathroom.
yeah.
Things we find in the bathroom.
Why is Uncle Charlie here? It was like, and they always give it, and you see that look, and you saw that look of hatred that
Yeah.
after that show, that person was never invited to any of those
Yeah.
family functions for at least maybe a couple
Here's
of
our
years.
check for $938.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah,
Not the
yeah.
$20,000 we were looking for.
Yeah, and here's how much it cost us to
Oh,
go to the
shit.
fucking show, you son
Sorry.
of a bitch. Celtics,
well.
the Celtics win? Did
no,
the
we're at
Celtics win?
83-83.
Ooh.
With
Are they
3
in
minutes,
triple
38
overtime?
38 seconds left. No, they're still in the fourth quarter.
Have they scored a goal yet?
They have not gotten a touchdown yet.
Okay, no touchdown yet.
But we were up 9 points ahead.
But okay,
now
what
we're
is the
tied.
significance of this game? Is it the finals?
We're in the playoffs. Is it the playoffs or the finals?
Well, it's the playoffs, right? It's like but is it the final? Because I know basketball, you have so many different strings of like the.
We need to win 3 more. So that's what the Heat has already beat us 2 games out of 1. 2 games to 1. So we need to win.
So they need to at least win this game to
Yeah.
stay pretty much in it to win it.
You're in it to win it.
In it to win it. You're in it. I'm in it.
Oh,
Oh, I want to be in her to win it. Oh.
I knew it as soon as I said it.
You said it. You walked right into that, Christopher. Are you wrapping up
did.
the show? Like I want to wrap her up. Oh.
5 minutes ago, I knew I should have ended it 5 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm surprised our producer hasn't ended it yet. Oh.
All right, yeah, this time for serious, we'll wrap it up.
Oh, yes. Oh.
my
What do you
God.
mean we're wrapping it up?
And we're done.
I spent.
And I'm finished. All right, well, you can always get in touch with us during the week when we're not on the air.
What?
I'll give you Dan's personal cell
Not
phone.
quite.
No.
Almost. We're almost there.
Glenn just woke
Yeah.
up. What? The
Chris,
show?
What,
over?
show's over? Wrapping up? Yes.
Chris is finishing.
You can email us during the week at ve@ipmnation.com. Make sure to like us on Facebook, Verbal Ejac. Download the Ustream app. It's free. You can catch us every Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. You can also catch us on QCEnews.com. The replay will be available on QCEnews.com and IPMNation.com. IPM Nation schedule coming up. This coming Wednesday, Matt Connerton Unleashed will not be airing a live edition.
What?
Our host, Matt Connerton, will not be available to do a live edition, but
You
when
bastard.
he is here to do the live edition, Wednesday nights, 8 p.m., IPMNation.com and QCEnews.com. That is the televised edition. The radio edition is available
Yes, and I have a new podcast of the live edition that I did a special Saturday night live
I
edition.
saw you post that on Facebook.
And that is up. If you go to the Matt Connerton Unleashed page on IPMNation.com, you can listen to that if you didn't catch it live. You can download it.
And typically the radio version that you do is Saturday mornings.
Yes, but I did it Saturday night because we had the event at Styling Souls.
That's right. Which
Saturday morning. And I don't know. I think the next one I'm going to do Sunday morning because this coming Saturday we'll be in Boston.
That's right. At 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Also on Wednesdays, our good friends over at Amsterdam TV23 and IPMNation.com at 11 p.m. Eastern. Thursdays on TV23 and QCNews.com and IPMNation.com is Roulette at Large, Gone Local. Is that
Gone
the title?
No,
Local.
it's
No
it's
more
global.
local.
No more local.
It's all.
Wait a minute.
It's
Is it
all
the same
global
name as
now.
the Friday
And
show?
I'll be Glenn's guest next Thursday since I'm not doing my Wednesday night show. I'll be on Roulette at Large on Thursday next week.
And that will be at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Or this week rather because it's Sunday already. Sorry.
And Rhino tried to invite me, so I told him that you were my guest.
Oh, good. All right.
And that's the outfit that you see in the audience in television tiers.
What? Yes.
Fridays, Roulette at Large Gone Global,
Roulette.
the media services, the television radio services, 8 p.m. QCNews.com and IPMNation.com. And then Sunday, we're back again. We've got the later show with JC Sargent, 7 p.m. I did not do a show tonight. He was feeling under the weather. JC Sargent, we hope you feel better. 8 p.m. Eastern, the Peter White Show available at IPMNation.com. And then we wrap it up with Verbal Ejaculation, 9:30 p.m. Eastern.
Don't forget
Saturday,
Saturday live from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
live from 11 a.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. The Boston Pride event. Parade. Gays everywhere. It's
So it's
just
gonna
the
be a
gays
lot of
of our
gays.
lives.
A lot of gays. Whole
We're
bunch
gonna
of
be
Boston
bright,
gays.
bright and early to be working on
Is
that.
Glenn
event.
gonna dress up?
I would like to see.
I heard Glenn was gonna
Glenn
dress
in
up
his
like Elton
pride
John. Are
colours.
you gonna have
I don't
little
think so.
little feathery glasses and
John's too old for me.
I'm not saying too old for you. I'm saying you're gonna do an homage to like Elton John or be like a little Crocodile Rock, a
We're not
little.
going there to parade us, we're going there to produce the show.
Yeah, but why not represent? Matt's dressing up.
True.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm bi.
You don't have to be gay to dress up and show your support. You
I
can
love
still
he's got the
be
shit
like.
eating grin
If
every
I
time
was
he says,
able,
"I'm bi."
if I was able to be there, I would dress up and support. I mean, I don't see
Then
why
show
you're.
up.
I have to do other things. I'm committed to go to my mother's, so I have to do something else.
I'm
But
dressing up as a giant
I should be
penis.
committed
You
because
know?
I'm doing this.
I said a giant penis.
he's gonna be a giant penis.
penis.
Wow.
Are you gonna wear that giant condom?
No, I'm just gonna shave
Yeah.
my head.
There
But
you
I
go.
mean, you don't
Can't
have to be
walk around
gay to
with one
dress
eye.
up. What that's what a stereotypical person over there.
I know, right?
Saying you have to be gay to dress up to support gay pride. That's you're being
That would
that-
mean it's Halloween is
yeah.
gay.
That's that's a bi guy
It's gonna be
over there.
Too hot.
I'm being attacked by
That's a
plant.
bi guy. Bi guy saying a heterosexual,
I can hear
has to
your
be
voice
gay to
dripping
dress
in
up.
quotation marks.
Half a gown,
Half a
right?
gown?
I should wear half a suit on one side and half a gown on the other. And bi.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
There you
that's
go.
just weird.
Short
Like,
hair,
that's
long hair.
just straight.
Is that the dress up?
I think you should wear what you wear now. I think that's great.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching. The podcast of tonight's episode will be available shortly.
His posse was gay,
So
wasn't
you
he?
can
I don't know.
download the free podcast, the audio podcast, and of course on QCNews.com and IPMNation.com you'll see the televised edition, which you can watch as much as you want. But the podcast is how we get the ratings. So please keep
Is
downloading
that
those
it,
free
really? If you watch the
podcasts.
TV version, you get no ratings. That sucks.
Ask the man who passed
That's
the
not true.
numbers.
Wait, what?
You get ratings.
How do
if
we get
you-
the ratings? It's through the podcast, right?
It's through page views.
Page views.
So,
Well, keep
whether,
watching our
so
page.
whether you watch it live or get the podcast, it counts.
Oh, so why have I been downloading all those podcasts? Jesus.
Because it's changed.
Well, you should save them.
I
You
should
saved
save
the
them. And
podcast.
we're at number 3. I'm happy
Yes.
about that.
Yes.
Yeah, we went up. We're beating some
number
shows.
three.
That's always good.
We are.
You know, that's always good.
But congratulations to Shadow of the Night Radio. They are.
I have yet to
Number one.
watch or listen to Shadow of the Night Radio. I heard they're having a contest,
Well,
right?
don't.
They're doing
We gotta knock them out of number 1. So
Well,
don't. We'll go to their
they're
page.
doing a contest where you can go and do a ghost busting thing with them or something. If you email them, just email them and say I would
Verbal
want to
ejaculation. We'll do a nut busting thing.
Not busting.
Come to Chris's apartment and I will bust
you'll
your
bust
nut.
a nut. Wow.
Wow.
Or I will watch you bust a
Wait,
nut.
don't say that too loud.
Oh, must.
Somebody might send you an email. Somebody might.
June is coming out all over. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Dan, you got
I will
anything?
send you an email, Christopher. I will send it to you tonight. I'm typing right now. We can't have the show yet.
He is.
Dear Christopher Rose at IPMNation.com.
Anything
I
else,
don't.
guys?
I can't think of
No.
anything else coming
Nothing
up.
else. All right. Glenn, you ready to turn us off?
I'm ready to
All
turn
right.
you
Well,
on,
thank you all
Christopher.
for watching tonight. We will see you next week, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on IPMNation.com and QCNews.com. And have a good night.